5. What's up, guys? Welcome to a bonus episode here on our channel. We're analyzing the bull market predictions today by two people in cryptocurrency right now. Obviously, Bob Loukas is the GOAT, and he's been doing the 4-year journey for a long time. So we're going to be doing analyzing Bob Loukas, but we're going to start off with the founder of Hex, Richard Hart, making some pretty bold statements, to say the least. Pretty bold. So we're gonna talk about that. We are here to talk to you guys about enrolling also in the crypto mindset course. Don't forget, crypto mindset course is going to close down, and you will not be able to get in, and you will pay more the next time it's available, which is God knows when. So go to modernlifedating.com/crypto to get into the crypto mindset course right now, because you are literally running out of time. There's like so many people. I think there's over 700 something people signed up already. It's only been, has it been 48 hours? Yes, it has completed 48 hours now.
Yeah, on the 48-hour mark, we had 792 or 94 people that had signed up to the course. And then since then, we've had, plenty more. So basically, yeah, I would say anybody who's already purchased the course, you should be getting an email within the first 24 hours after purchasing the course, if not sooner. If you have not received that email, be sure to double check your spam, your promotions, or your junk inbox, because oftentimes if you can't see it in your normal part of your email, it should be in there. If it's been more than 24 hours and you have not, for whatever reason, gotten an email, be sure to email me at charlie@cultivatecrypto.com, or go over to Telegram if you already have it, and direct message Cultivate Crypto Intern, which is my assistant who's taking care of the onboarding of everybody onto the Telegram chat for the Crypto Mindset course. Don't send me a direct Telegram message or DM on Twitter or Instagram message. Probably have a tough time getting back to you. Just in general, same with Miguel. So, we're just focused here on giving you guys good content before we go totally off air for basically all of September. So that's why we're jumping on here with John today, because we got lots of good stuff happening in crypto, a lot of interesting stuff to talk about here.
What's up, Miguel?
Hey, what's going on, dude? Take a sip of water.
I leave you to awkwardly take up the air there.
Yeah.
Pass the ball, clear fumble. How you doing with all your streams and everything?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, man. We've been streaming like nonstop, and I'm so excited to get the course ready and started, man. The earlier we can get people in, the more information we can just end up giving them, because like these prices are only going to last for so long, basically.
Yep. Yeah, and that's, we're going to talk about that as well. This is 3 parts to today's show. I want to talk about. Also, have some pretty exclusive news for the diehards who are watching right now. I've pretty much gotten like almost 100% green light that George Gammon is going to be on the Tokyo Crypto Show.
Nice.
I'm going to be able to connect with him. So, I mean, we just got, all of the financial powerhouses are coming through. That is, Robert Kiyosaki has already bent the knee. No, I'm just joking. Robert Kiyosaki has actually, like, I have not.
He blessed the crypto mindset course.
Dude, I have not seen Robert Kiyosaki that animated and that fucking excited on a live stream ever. Ever.
Yeah. No, I was, like, as I was talking to him, right? Like, we were just talking to him just because it was a good conversation. But like, I watched part of it on the replay, and I was like, damn, I was talking with Robert Kiyosaki. He's a huge guy in the financial space. And, we've all read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or listened to it. And, I think Miguel even was mentioning, right, it was like one of the first books that you had read in the finance space, right?
The first book. I mean, I kind of attribute Rich Dad Poor Dad to why the real estate market is still so relevant today in terms of like the younger crowd, because he really influenced a lot of like Xers and older millennials and stuff into real estate and stuff. And I think that's why it's even so big on YouTube right now, actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll say that with his show, I think the show he's going to do with Rolo is going to be called Money, Sex, Power. I just think that or Sex, Money, Power, or whatever, because I think it's so it was so like what I really saw was like fucking like basically like Gran Torino. I just saw an old man who didn't I saw an
Yep.
old man that was just like, fuck everything, and like, you're gonna kill me, you're gonna cancel me, you're gonna do it, cancel my YouTube channel, fuck you, like, fuck the government, I don't trust you, I don't trust the
Fantastic.
Fed, I don't trust none of these. He's like, these fucking school teachers are losers. That's what the teachers. I was like, God damn.
I was like,
just going
base
ham.
Kiyosaki.
Super based. I was just like, holy shit, his publicist is gonna shit a brick after he sees this. But you know, damn, it was just awesome to fucking see that.
Yeah, no, it was a great conversation.
So
very lucky that we were a part of it. But you know, I was very humbled and glad to see that he was asking me, Miguel, a lot of questions. Right? He was just like, I want to hear what the young guys have to say, and that's a sign of somebody who's very, very wise. Right? Just you know, this is a new industry, a brand new industry, which is changing the world, and it is going up against the Fed. You know, when we think about it that way, it's a pretty awesome opportunity. But I think a lot of people, they might look at that as like, oh my God, the shadow supercoders strike again, right? But it's like, which is ridiculous. But yeah, it's just one of those things where we do have the power as citizens to change our government, to change the world. I think the United States and a lot of people around the world have forgotten that the citizens are the ones with the power. We are the ones who change these things, and we are the ones who decide what we want to do with our money or not the government. And I think the last maybe 20, 30 years, people have been maybe even longer, right? People have been indoctrinated to not believe that, or to think the opposite, where if I pick up $5 off the street, oh my God, I got to rush to my tax consultant, got to rush to my QuickBooks, make sure to put that $5 in so that I don't get put in jail because I didn't put, that as income on my taxes, right? Which is, if you say it like that, people laugh and it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. But that's how they treat cryptocurrency, right? So, yeah, things need to change, and we need to be the ones who change it. So.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something that's probably gonna discredit everything we see on this stream, but I've been watching a lot of InfoWars lately, and
there we go. Let's get our tinfoil hats out.
I've been watching a lot of InfoWars lately, right? And because there's this one Marine. He's like, or I forget if he's a Marine, but he's like, I've been following this guy, right? He's a former military, servant, combatsman. Like he not like a general or some shit, like a guy that's like out there, like doing the real shit. And he's just
I think I can hear myself whenever I say something now.
Hold on, I just turned off StreamYard is just so weird with the audio.
Yeah.
No, but what I've been watching is this one guy, and he was saying this, right? This will make sense. I should have just not mentioned it was on InfoWars, but he was saying, like, you're seeing all these draconian measurements come into play, like these strong, heavy-handed plays, like, talking about, that, and fucking the passports and the fucking money, and like Australia and Canada, just insane right now.
That's how Japan ruled during the Edo period, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so all of that stuff, right, is going down. And he's just saying it's just because the elites are just like at like the very end of like what they can do to control people. Like they just fucking can't. Like they're losing control. They're losing.
It's almost like turning it into a feudal state, right? Is like each country becomes like a feudal state, and it's like it's big, going back to the fucking Middle Ages.
Right.
Yeah, but what I mean is like, because we all, like, because Robert and us, and we're all I mean, you and I have been based since we were in that fucking little crappy tatami room that we were doing the first episode of Tokyo Crypto Show in, and we were just two cyberpunks that were just like, man, the government's a bunch of fucking idiots. And you have these draconian measurements coming into play, like Chase Bank, like, canceling fucking people's credit cards and bank accounts. They like canceled Michael Flynn's accounts recently.
No, man.
Like, oh, it's an accident after they got backlash, right? But they're like just trying so hard to control everybody, and they can't. Like, I just don't see, like, they just can't. Like, we vastly outnumber them. Like,
they're just delaying the inevitable.
Yes, and that's what I'm seeing right now. I just think it's like this is like that final fucking grasp for power that they are absolutely. Yeah, that they're gonna lose. Like, Klaus Schwab and all them saying, like, World Economic Forum, you'll own nothing, you'll eat bugs, and you'll like it. And now, yeah, like Brave Bird for one says, back then John and Charlie were broke and crazy. Now they're rich and crazy.
No,
hey man, two dudes, one mic.
Yeah,
there you go. There you go. I like that word better.
Yeah. This Eric says, I disagree. I think regular people want draconian rules against those they disagree with, so they'll elect people who make that happen. No, you're wrong. It's not about what people want. It's not about what people want. It's what can be done. You can't fucking control all the people. You can't control 7 billion people with a small amount of fucking, unless you use like, fear and intimidation tactics. But I mean, look what's happening. France, people are protesting, having picnics out in the street in front of these restaurants, right?
That's considered a protest. A picnic is a fucking protest these days. Like, Jesus Christ.
Australians are getting violent in the street, fighting back. Italians are fighting back, right? Vietnamese are just put in. Dude, the Vietnamese have been put in some insane. Dude, the military.
You have your friend on the ground there, right?
Yeah. Phuc Map for the Phuc Map blogs, and he's telling me, like, dude, you could clearly tell this is influenced by China as well. Like, they're like, they have the Sinopharm vax, and they're like heavily forcing it upon people. Like, you will not be able to get a visa renewed. You'll not be able to keep your job. Very, very Chinese, right? And this has only been going on for a couple months, and the Vietnamese are fighting back. I mean, you got people in South America fighting back. You got people in Canada fighting back. Like I said, you got Californians fighting back. I mean, that is like that is like, not every Californian is based as Miguel, but like, you have like these Californians like vehemently fighting back, and that's just, they're not going to snuff these people out. And I think just like, it's all tied together because, Kishida, right? I don't think I cited it on your show the other day, but Kishida is most likely going to be the new prime minister of Japan. Fumio Kishida. He was a former foreign ministry department. And he said that he's planning to, as soon as he gets into office, print tens of trillions of yen in relief. And like, relief for what relief have we gotten? We got $900, Charlie and I.
We
got $900
last summer.
And the panic is going because they just got to keep this fiat money scam going. That's exactly what I think is happening. I'm pretty sure
100%. 100%. It was the thing that was really interesting about 2019, right? Besides Bitcoin running up for the first half of the year, was around, I think it was July, August of 2019, Warren Buffett said, hey, I'm taking a lot of my positions, if not all my positions, into cash. Interesting. Okay. Then the first people who started noticing basically the quantitative easing and the trillions of dollars being printed was the crypto community. In September of 2019, Jerome Powell said, we're going to do some repo. I know you guys don't really understand what that term is, so here's an example of what it is. Everybody in crypto is like, that's quantitative easing. That's QE, buddy. You're just going to print money and inflate the currency. He was like, no. There's a whole New York Times article, right, that they paraded around in the fall of 2019 saying, it's not QE, it's not QE, it's not QE, right? Then January comes around, right? Things are still hunky-dory, but kind of starting to slip a little bit. They're printing a lot more money. And then comes March, you get the Corona crash right after, right? The coronavirus started coming out in, what was it? I think February of 2020, right? And then the Corona crash happened in the financial markets. And then they said, oh yeah, this is QE. And now we need to print even more money to basically give to you people because now the stock market has crashed. The economy is bad. We have to go on lockdowns. And then it's like all of a sudden, boom, right? The hammer comes down, the locks come on your front fucking doors. And then, the craziness clown world just gets even more ridiculous over the last year and a half. Right. And it's like, you look at what they were doing building up to that. Right. And it's like, I said this on your stream on Dude Party back in, what was it, spring of 2020? The time I was on there before we did the last one a couple of weeks ago, that video got taken off of YouTube. I told you guys, I was like, there's some shit going on with the money right now, and they're using this as a crisis to divert your attention away from what's actually happening with the government and the money printing, right? And on the show, a lot of the guys, were listening to that information. They were like, damn, like, a lot of people hadn't thought about it at that time. There were a lot of people in the crypto community talking about it, but not a lot outside of that. And I think I got a lot of pushback. The first Moon Gang we did, we were talking about that, I believe, to some extent. And I remember we had a couple people on that panel who were like, no, the United States is going to be just fine on all this stuff. And it's like, guys got to be careful, right? Like about this money stuff. And it's just been getting worse and worse and worse. And now they're printing, $1 trillion printing now is like, oh yeah,
yep,
normal now. When's the quadrillion dollar bill coming out?
Soon.
10 years.
Soon. But yeah, like I said, I'm just, and then the censorship of what's going on social media is even crazier, right? All I said was like, all I did was play a video on this channel of a bunch of certified medical doctors in the United States analyzing the before and after effects of what happened when you put a certain Fauci juice in your body. And I thought I didn't say anything. I was just like, this is what's happening. Deleted, community guidelines strike, and it's like, okay, so like we can't even
no freedom of speech. Can't.
We can't even voice in a digital era, right? We can't really say that hey, what's going on with this,
Yeah,
so
and there's like, if there can be no dissent, right? How are you going to have a democracy? It's impossible, right? And even if it's uninformed dissent, like, okay, then inform me, right? And let's have a discussion about this, and let's have an actual debate. Every time that happens, it's very illogical in terms of how the debate goes, right? And it's not a debate because they just shove it down your throat, which is basically the most suspicious whole aspect of it to me too. So just one of those things where it's like, why can't we talk about this stuff? Why do we have to use code language to talk about it? It's like on YouTube, because the algorithm is like fucking the first layer of Minority Report before we get guys like Tom Cruise smashing in our windows.
Oh my god, yeah. I was looking at what happened, because I had this trouble with Stripe recently, right? With my payouts, and they're like, oh hey, we predict that you might have trouble financially in the future, so we're gonna hold a couple of tens of thousands of dollars in reserve. And then I wrote him an email, Charlie, and I was like, what? I was like, when the hell did I literally verbatim wrote them in the email? I was like, when the hell did this become the Minority Report? I was like, you're predicting future crimes on me? And I wrote him a fucking long email, and I was like, this is fucking bullshit. This is criminal. I don't know what you fucking people are doing. I didn't say fuck because they're all fucking crybabies over there. And I was just like, so you're basically holding me guilty for something that has not happened. And I worded it in such a way that they're just like, oh, we after further review, we have determined that we will release 90% of the money that we have lost.
We'll release just enough money so that you can't pay a lawyer to come and fucking sue our asses for this bullshit.
Yeah. And then so that's another thing I've noticed. I know other people that have trouble with PayPal, and PayPal holds people's money hostage, and then Stripe is holding people's money hostage. And then when I try to do a money transfer from Chase in like May, it took 21 days for a Swift thing to go through. Like, oh, sorry, we had a computer error. And then I got to Japan, and Japan
from
was
the
like,
1970s.
Yeah, and then money got to Japan. They're like, oh yeah, we need you to provide multiple documents in order for us to give you this money in cash. And I was just like, how about fuck you? How was that? Is that a good document? Right? How about that? Fuck you. This is my money. But that's the thing. These banks, there's something going on behind the scenes with liquidity, with all this money. There's some serious shit going on. I can't put my finger on it, but I have enough international experience in them, with PayPal, dealing with shit, Stripe, buying crypto, Japanese banks, American banks, plus tying the government, all the printing, the draconian lockdowns. I like something behind the scenes is not going on right. And that's why that's why I think crypto is the ultimate solution to this, because it is your money. It is your money. No one is gonna come take that shit from you. If you leave it on exchange, this is the equivalent of leaving it in a bank. And then God bless you. That's all I got to say. But I mean, this is why Crypto Mindset course is so important, and this is why it's not important because we say it's important too. Just so you guys know, we didn't pay Robert Kiyosaki anything
Yeah.
to endorse
Right.
this thing.
I didn't even know he was going to be on the show with us until about like 12 to 18 hours before we went on.
We didn't pay anybody to come to the sign up and the thousands and thousands and thousands of members, literally thousands and thousands and thousands of signups we've had for the Crypto Mindset course. The market has decided that they need to get educated on this.
Yep.
And guess what? Both of our channels, imagine if we had like an unthrottled YouTube reach. Jesus Christ.
We'd be at least two to 3x more subs, basically. At least.
Not even that. I mean, to people in the course we'd have probably 50,000, 70,000, 100,000 in this 1 year.
Yeah.
You know, and because the people want this information, but thank God to people like you out there who share our videos and you help us with this big, gigantic war against the fucking establishment that's going on. And, you help us with, getting the information out there. I mean, without that, we'd be SOL.
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons why the Moon Gang, right? The Moon Gang thumbnail basically is designed perfectly. Why? Because we have 2 asteroids coming in hitting Earth as we on the Moon Gang sit there and sip our fucking lemonade on the moon, right? And what does that represent? Dinosaur financial system just getting if it sticks around because it actually has a use case, sure, okay, why not? But if it happens to just get taken out like the dinosaurs did because Bitcoin and Ethereum are where it's at and where the future of finance is going, then, you might want to learn something about that, right? And so we don't call the Moon Gang for nothing. And we're not just like here to, shill coins and talk about this stuff. We're here to like actually educate people, but, it's called infotainment for a reason, right? So,
yeah. Hey, we're good at what we do, folks. And we're only going to get better. Marcello says, what would you pay a man that has 50 BTC and considers that a small investment? I know. That's funny, right?
Give them all the monies.
Antoine, $17, super chat. Which exchanges will we need for the plays in the course? Just want to move my fiat around in case there's a 7-day delay like on Coinbase.
FTT, USA, Kraken, Gemini. Yeah.
Yep. Kraken and Gemini are those ones would be my favorites.
Artemis, my mod is in the house. He says, to say F you to the algorithms, be sure to follow me on dlive.tv/modern life dating. Yeah, we already have 230 people over there. I'm starting my censorship free show over there called Ultra Based.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's gonna be lit, dude. It's gonna be so awesome. We're going like,
we're gonna have a good old time.
We're gonna deplatform InfoWars with how based we get.
Can't wait.
I am streaming Dorkhead. I am also streaming on Twitch right now. Hot Dude Life on Twitch. So twitch.tv/Hot Dude Life. You can follow me on Twitch as well. We're just doing
Cultivate
the organic
Crypto's on Twitch as well. I got like 50 followers there, but I'm still on Twitch.
He's also on DLive. Cultivate Crypto on DLive as well. The blockchain based live streaming platform. So let's jump into today's topic, shall we? We're going to talk about this. So Richard Hart put out an 11-minute long video, and there's some good information in there. He has been saying what Charlie and Miguel have been saying since the last Crypto Mindset course, which is Hex is going to go to the price of 60 cents. And that was top secret information before with the last Crypto Mindset course. We do have so much more information now. Like I don't know, man. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna sleep because it's just so much information that's coming, but I just refuse to miss it because like every hour I pay attention to the Crypto Mindset course, I at least make $100 for every hour that I attend. Oh, yeah. And it's crazy. I don't know how you guys fucking get all this information together, but it's amazing.
Yeah, we like tap ourselves into the matrix and don't sleep. Yeah, we can sleep when we're dead. We can sleep in the bear market, right? Whichever comes first.
Yeah, speaking of sleeping, Big Scrap Travis, you guys are still sleeping? Do you ever sleep? Morning Moon Gangers. Half of y'all forgot to hit the like button on the way. And thanks so much, Doc, my man. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and cover this first video. So this is the most recent video put out by, or one of the most recent videos put out by Richard. And so you guys know, I was wrong about Hex. doesn't mean I'm just gonna like jump on the hex bandwagon blindly. But I think that this video is worth analyzing here. I'll put it on 1.25 speed because Richard does speak a little bit at like a more relaxed pace, so we'll speed it up a little bit. But then we're going to go into the Bob Loukas breakdown after this, which is really important.
Yeah, very good detail too.
It's fucking amazing. I love that video.
Bob Loukas is a G. I mean, Richard Hart's been, we had him wrong, right? When we were looking at hex to begin with, and I've watched a lot of his streams. Miguel's helped me to kind of point us in the right direction in terms of hex. And so, Richard Hart, one of the reasons as well why a lot of the mainstream media in crypto is against him is simply because he has, a personality that just gives zero fucks, right? And which is, very similar to John, and it is what it is. But like, I think he deserves a lot more respect than he does get in the crypto space, simply just because, I mean, Hex is a project that actually has survived. It is censorship resistant, but despite the entire crypto market, like, kind of not the entire crypto market, but a lot of it planning to kind of try to suppress that information. So, he's a 5%. Yeah, exactly. So he's a very intelligent dude. So I think it is worthwhile to listen to this information, but I just kind of put that out there because I think we get a lot of spurgs out there who are like, these are the guys who shit talk. Like, yeah, dude, like a year and a half ago, and we changed our opinion on it like a year ago. So like, get with the times and like pay attention to the videos before you make a decision, right?
Like John and Charlie have more hex than the average Hexican, which is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, more pulse too.
And pulse, yeah, exactly.
Like I said, it is what it is. It's no big deal. I don't have any fucking pride, man. If I was wrong, I'm wrong, and I think it's retarded that we have to keep on like apologizing to them. I'm not. I
just always put it out there because it's kind of the same thing as what we talk about with the crypto mindset course, right? It's like if we were to just say the crypto mindset course is going live on September 3rd through September 7th, if I just said that once, just people, I say that like 5 times a stream for like a whole month. I still get people being like, when's the course?
No, right? I know.
Right.
I'm just like, goddamn. So like, yeah, I mean, it's just, I think it's not in terms of like overly apologizing, because I don't give a shit. Like, if somebody doesn't like us, like, great. If they want to make a meme of us, which they have, I actually find that extremely entertaining. And actually, I'm like, awesome. I got some memes. Sweet. I think shout out to Crypto Kobe out there on Twitter. He was a guy that I was like, dude, that was an awesome meme you made. Like, can you send it to me? And he was like, such a cool dude, So there's a lot of great people in the Hex community. And, I think it's just like, I want to get that message out there. I talked about that in front of the Hex community on Discord Syndicate last September. So, that's it's probably one of the last times I'll say that, but I know for a fact because we did a YouTube video for the first time on my channel about Hex yesterday. And then this one has Richard Hart Hex in the thumbnail. It's good to put that information out there because the Hex family will, pay attention to that. And there's always some new spurg to the Hex community who like only hears the stuff from, that's over a year old of information. Right. And those people, I don't know. Yeah. They just spurg because they spurg.
This is kind of the stuff that like Nerd Girl was trying to say, why she got so frustrated with the Hex community was like, we're trying to build bridges with other communities. Cause like, how else are we going to get more people into Hex if it isn't from other communities? And like, you end up you can't like forgive people basically. Right. But like, but people on Twitter then simp over some dude that has some followers basically.
Right. And it's a funny thing. They're like,
crazy shit.
When will the keyboard warriors, right? Like, when will these influencers, and I don't even consider us influencers. That word is fucking retarded. But
oracles, sir. Oracles.
Yeah, exactly. When will these oracles know? So like, when will these people finally say good things about Hex? And then once somebody says good things about Hex, hey fucker, no, they can't join the Hex community. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, bro. It's like, chill, take a chill pill, smoke some weed, enjoy life. Enjoy your gains.
Hex Jesus forgives all the sins. There you
go. Where's your collar? You got to have that.
I like Hex, but I still there are still some fucking retards in the community. I'll say.
Well, that's with every community. I mean,
some guy challenged me to a fight on Instagram. I was like, just name the place, buddy. Name the place. I'll smash your fucking head open.
Take a video, please.
Bro, can we still think so? That shit would be lit. Beat the shit.
Here, let's see what Richard has to say.
Remember all the haters that told you that I was a scammer and Hex was a scam? I got bad news for the haters. We're making new all-time highs where everything else is getting wrecked. We have 100% uptime while everything else.
So that's the first thing I was like, everything's getting wrecked. I was like, the market's kind of flying right now.
Yeah, the market's doing just fine. And like, if you do look at the Hex to Ethereum chart, there are points in time, right, where it's not outpacing Ethereum for quite a substantial amount of time. Ethereum's doing some good shit, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Else is hacked and down. You go to your bank, it's down. You go to Coinbase, it's down. You go to KuCoin, it's down. KuCoin's been hacked. Binance has been hacked. Quadriga CX went down. Cryptopia went down. BTC went down. Mt. Gox went down. Everything in crypto is getting wrecked all the time. But the people living in the shining city in the hill, the Hexicans, we're living the dream.
What does he say? What does he mean when BTC went down? Bitcoin went down? Bitcoin didn't go down.
Well, in March or April, right? I don't know. This video was like just recently, right?
Yeah, because he's talking about like hacks and things going down.
I think he's talking about price for the coins, and then he's talking about like just some of these exchanges have gotten hacked. That's basically
okay.
I think he's talking about the dip that happened in May, basically. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Dream. We're hitting new all-time highs constantly, over and over and over again. Everything's getting better and better and better in our community, while the wrecked plebs out there that thought they were smart, they thought they were better than you, they're not smarter than you, they're not better than you. Let's take Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor was calling Bitcoin a scam back in 2013, said it would die like online gaming died. Is that what happened? No. The price went up and up and up and up and up. And it went up so high that he finally FOMO'd. He finally said, you know what? I can't take the pain anymore of missing it. I have to finally buy it.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly the thought process that went through Michael Saylor's head. He did actually say that in 2013, though. So he you know.
You can tell Richard has fuck you money because his shirt is like not even ironed. He doesn't even give a shit.
He's having a good time out there in Eastern Europe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's in Europe.
Wait, he posted some pictures and he actually tweeted about this recently. He actually said the words he's in Estonia, but it looks like he's like on a road trip or something recently or something like that. Yeah. I don't know. I saw some pictures of like not Lambos, but some sort of cars that he puts out. He loves basically showing his rollies in his cars that he's doing right now or something like that.
Let me see.
And that's what he
did.
Good for him. So Michael Saylor bought in 10K, 20K, 30K has been averaging up with his buys getting smaller and smaller at higher prices. And you're like, well, man, I tell you what, if I bought a few $1 billion or something, I'd want the price to move more than 3x.
You guys don't donate $100 right now.
Thanks
you're
to
a
the
beta
dono
male, you're a cuck, you're blue pill for life. You better send me $1,000 in donation right now.
And that's
Joe's Diner, $4.99 super chat. Excited about the crypto mindset course. Found you guys through my friend in MLD's community, Casey Morris. Oh, you're friends with Casey. Yeah, that's a good friend. Shout out. Casey's fucking funny man, dude. I love Casey. You remember Casey, that redheaded guy with the big beard?
Was he the guy who made he was like a metal welder or something?
No, he's in the computer like programming industries. And
okay. Yeah, I think I remember who you're talking about by the name, but I don't remember what he looked like in the body language mastery course.
That's why. Yeah. Hey guys, if you can interrupt the stream, interrupt it for $20, okay? If not, thanks so much.
Hex just went up from it went up 4,000 fold in price, and it's hitting new all-time highs with everything else is dying. And Michael Saylor's there shilling it on TV. The thing that he used to call scam back when I had huge bags of it. Billionaires are buying my Bitcoin bags that I mined back when it was 50 cents. They love.
Well, I wanted to put it in 4K
because this camera's lit. $10,000 per coin. They hated it and called it a scam back when it was 50 cents. We're having the exact same thing now in Hex. I think that we are dominating. We are winning. I don't know what we could do better. You can't have more than 100% uptime. That's it. I don't know how you could have much better than 4,000x in 600 days. That's almost 2 years, and you've got a 4,000x before staking. How are we going to beat that? Can you have better than hex.com? You can't misspell it. It's a 3-letter dictionary.com name. The logo's so amazing. We're seeing everyone tattooing on their bodies. I've seen a lot more Hex tattoos.
Listen, just because Tom Bombadil got a Hex tattoo doesn't mean that.
Hey, man. Tom's a good guy.
Tom's back, bro. Tom's back. What the hell?
Oh, Lord. I think the tattoo statement is a little overboard there.
Yeah. Well, this is what happens when you become a founder, right? Which is the way that a lot of people make money in crypto, but you get very tied to a specific narrative that benefits your ecosystem, right? I mean, that's just going to be the natural progression, right? So, and this will get into when we talk about the price talk, right? It's like, basically, why do you have these different types of opinions? Where I think if he wasn't like running a project, if he was just talking like objectively about Bitcoin, Ethereum, he'd have a very different point of view. Obviously, some of the points would be very similar, but you do end up having a bias when you start running a project. That's 100%, no matter who you are.
As you should.
As you should, yeah.
I've seen Bitcoin tattoos, and I've been in Bitcoin for 10 years. So every single possible metric that we could have, we're killing it. And everyone else is just watching with their jaw open, like, how is this possible? And they haven't seen anything yet. I know guys have hundreds of millions.
Said that he doesn't see any Bitcoin tattoos out there in the real world. And I was like, okay, I get it. But it's like 2 seconds of research.
I like CZ, man. Like Richard should get a hex tattoo because CZ went and did get a Binance tattoo. I respect that. You know?
Bitcoin for life.
What happened?
Sorry.
CZ got a bit.
Yeah, he was on that panel there, holding up like this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. See, because like I think the community on Twitter was like, CZ, like Binance, we like Binance Coin, and you've been promoting it so much. Can you get a tattoo? And he was like, sure. I was like, I respect that. So
I don't mind the
when's
tattoos. I
Richard?
just don't like the QR codes. I think that always looks
Right. Well, when's Richard gonna get the hex tattoo? I want to see that.
That'd be pretty cool, actually. Yeah.
Eric Jordan says Tom Bombadil could possibly become a 9-figure man this year. As painful as that is to state, that is true. And honestly speaking, it would not be for anything but the crypto mindset course that this man, whose brain is 50% non-operational, is about to hit 9 figures in regards to his investments that he got through the crypto mindset course, which is insane. I mean, he was working at a Christian bookstore for a good portion of his life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I could say some other things, but in terms of like how he was working with crypto prior to the crypto mindset course, but I won't, just because it's better to keep those things.
Yeah, of course.
But generally speaking, I mean, he was pretty degen prior to the crypto mindset course, and we do degen plays in the crypto mindset course too. But like he ended up saying, I like Hex because of what Charlie and mainly obviously Miguel was teaching in the course about Hex, and he decided to put all his money in it. Right, and I'm like, great, no problem, bro. Stake it out, enjoy the ride. So best of luck to him, and it's been panning out pretty damn good.
I'll tell you what.
Millions of dollars that are trying to get more Hex right now and trying to get staked so that their stakes can be doubled for the pulsechain.com launch. And if those guys buy in, they're going to move the price up, man, a lot, because they can't get that supply anywhere else. So if you thought this new all-time high was a lot, you haven't seen anything yet. We've doubled 11 times. We're almost to our 12th doubling now, and I don't see any reason that doubling won't continue. The price chart is curving up, and for you viewers at home, up is this way. So if you thought 4,000x in 600 days was good, it appears to be going higher faster. And this isn't like a buy the rumor, sell the news event. There's no specific date where a bunch of supply is going to come free. The average amount of time people are locking up their Hex went from 4.8 years to 5.8 years, and it keeps getting longer and longer and longer. So what happens to something that people buy and they never sell, and they lock it up for longer periods of time? The price goes up. It's very obvious. It's very simple. So I'm proud to be the founder of the best cryptocurrency to ever be invented. And I'm proud to be a participant in the Hexagon community. And I'm proud that if you thought 4,000x gains was a lot in 600 days, soon it's going to be past 10,000. And I remember when I made the Hex website and I said, this was designed to do a 10,000x return in a year and a half or 2.5 years. Everyone said it was a scam. It was impossible. How dare you design something with the intention of becoming valuable? Well, that's what business is. By design, business is the creation of value for shareholders. So every business is trying to create and accrue value. And I'm honest and open about it. And I said, I want to design the highest appreciating asset that's ever existed. And then we did it, and it's working. And I think we'll be past 10,000x very soon. And then will I hear apologies from all those people that said evil things about me? Let me tell you the difference between me and everyone else in cryptocurrency. I'm a self-help author that gives away free books to try and make your life better. I give away free videos with the ads turned off on YouTube. They're not allowed to show ads on my videos. Who else is doing that in cryptocurrency? I tell you to stop drinking, stop trading, call your mom. I tell you to live a good, wholesome life.
We actually say the same thing on Tokyo Crypto Show, to be fair.
yeah, exactly.
We actually do say that.
Who else in crypto is doing that? Everyone else in crypto wants to see you get wrecked margin trading.
That's not us. That's other crypto channels.
But fair enough to this point. I mean, that is basically why.
It is true.
Yeah. That's why we started the Tokyo Crypto Show. That's why we started Cultivate Crypto. That's why we started the Moon Gang. That's why we started the Crypto Mindset course. Same exact reason. And he is right. There's very, I'd say like maybe that's 20% of the crypto community is doing these good things. And like, I would say there's a lot of people that are very good intentioned in the cryptocurrency community, but there is a lot of noise, a lot of junk out there. So, props to him for, basically trying to put good out there, and same to us, and same to all the other people out there on either YouTube, Twitter, or wherever they're talking that are trying to help people out. We need more of that in crypto for sure.
Right.
The only revenue they have. So, A self-help author doing everything for free, giving you free coins, free books, free videos, free advice, living the dream, just raised $27 million for charity. Has anyone else in cryptocurrency raised $27 million charity that wasn't me? No, it's just me. I'm the best person in cryptocurrency. And I'm working my way up to maybe.
No, he's not. It's Miguel.
Oh,
Miguel
look.
is the best person in cryptocurrency. We all know it.
Exactly. Look at that fucking smile on his face too after he says it. Oh, that's funny.
In the world, but it's going to take a while. There's a lot of people out there. You know, Bill Gates, a lot of people don't like him, but if you're an African, he's hooking you up, right? He's really trying to help you out over there. So I think in a couple of years, people will have to eventually give the respect that they didn't want to. I think it's coming. I think it's time.
Okay.
So I think we're going to see a world where more and more people are going to stake their hex for longer and longer. Bitcoin is down from 65K down to 47K. It's down 27% from its all-time high. Now, why is that so important? There's this market hype cycle chart that shows you early adopters, some adoption, hype cycle, parabola, hockey stick. Fall out of the parabola. Return to normal. This is just a dip. Buy all dips, can only go up. And then doom, and then down 85%. And we've seen this in Bitcoin 3 or 4 times before. It drops 85% usually. Ethereum's dropped 95% before. The technology hasn't changed much. The reasons why people would buy Bitcoin haven't changed much. The software is basically the same. So what really changed? The price went up. And so when you have a reflexive system where people are buying because the price went up, they do the same thing in the other direction as well. If the market gets punched in the nose hard enough and dips deep enough where people feel real fear, they sell, price goes down, so other people sell, price goes down, so other people sell. And then, you know, when you've already got the world's richest guy that bought in, Elon Musk already put a $1.5 billion in through Tesla, who's the next world's richest guy you're going to get? You know, it's a hype-driven cycle. It's a reflexive system. The price goes up because it did go up, and it goes down because it did go down. And I believe that we already had our top at 65K on Bitcoin, 4,400 on Ethereum, and I think we'll find new lows. I think you'll see Ethereum down at 300. I think you'll see Bitcoin down at 10,000 because historically.
So that right there is when I was like, okay, pump the brakes there. So Bitcoin's going to $10,000 and Ethereum's going to $300. I can't stand by that whatsoever. That's like shilling too hard.
Yeah. And you know, yeah, when you take a look at all the information, right, I would say
$10,000. How many people would have to fucking sell for Bitcoin to go to $10,000?
Like, I mean, to me, it's virtually impossible right now. But there's a lot of different reasons we could debate about how it could happen, how it couldn't happen, all these different things. At the end of the day, it's not going there, right? It's not going down to $10,000. Ethereum's not going down to 300. That's for damn sure. If it does, we'll buy more. I mean,
I'm backing up the brakes truck. I'm backing up the truck, son. It's $10,000, bro. I'm going to empty the bank account. There ain't going to be a single fucking thing in my house if the price hit that low.
I mean, think about the argument, right? He can be like, well, I got it wrong once, you know, and the hex is done well, so don't worry about it. And, you know, I was right all those other times. So, you know, it's no sweat off my back or whatever. Everybody, you know, has a dud call every once in a while. Like, I guarantee you, like a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, when he finally admits that, like, he'll be like, yeah. He's also hedged. If you watch some of I think it was an interview on Crypto Rand's channel with Mashinsky, Alex Mashinsky, he also put a few caveats within there, like, you know, a few escape hatches in that argument as well. Basically saying, well, if this happens, then I guess it won't go down to 10K, you know, and it's like, well, okay.
Yeah, that for me discredited pretty much 90% of this video when he said that. I was like, okay, you're just shilling now. Like, because like, if you told me 20,000, I'd be like, oh damn, that's like, that could happen. Because Bob said also in the next video we're going to talk about, there's a 20% chance that he believes the bull market could be over. 20%. He would say that.
Right. Bob tries to, you know, look pragmatically at all situations possible, right? He never says anything is impossible, which is a good way to look at it.
The only thing I could think that why the prices could correct like crazy or overreaction would basically be that the broker thing that they're trying to pass for the infrastructure bill doesn't get taken out, and basically it's just a bunch of bad news, and then eventually just get retracted in quarter 1 of 22. Basically,
you guys don't donate $100.
That's the only way I could see something happening. But yeah, 10K does seem like a pretty low to me. But it's like we plan for whatever, basically, whatever happens.
Sorry, go ahead and say that again. Somebody interrupted.
I can hear it.
You can hear it?
Well,
I could hear it. Maybe you couldn't, yeah.
Okay, so basically it would take the infrastructure bill going out in its entirety the way it is right now, which is basically super anti-crypto. That's the only thing I could see that would probably take us down that far, as well as it would be a culmination of like of September 15th of, that's the last day to do taxes for this last year. That's also the rollover of pretty much all the benefits as well. And let's just say none of that stuff basically it'd have to be like you'd have to roll a bunch of nat 20s of disaster for everything. But it's possible, but it's like, I don't put it, doesn't mean that we can't take a dip down. Like it's possible we can get back into 35,000 range and then just bounce back up. But let's just say if we did hit 10K, right? We'd be back at 20,000 within a day. I mean, literally. I mean, like it'd be a spike basically at the most. And then, we'd just be rocking and rolling pretty much from there because we have tons of stuff. We got IP. We got basically every exchange in all of North America trying to IPO next year. You've got the ETF that's going to go active next year, some point, whether the beginning, at the end, or some point. I mean, I'd be better if it got passed during the end of the year of 22. That'd be great, actually, because that would extend this market out to 23.
I like the sounds of this.
Crazy places.
Yep. And we talked about that in the original Crypto Mindset course in Q4 of 2020.
Smiley face via a $10 super chat. Sounds crazy, but is it possible for Hex to flip the top 3 cryptos as in its design store to value the way Bitcoin is being looked at now? Still a noob to Hex, but very interesting. So it's got to dethrone either.
He's talking about in terms of market cap, not in terms of price.
Yeah. So market cap, yeah. In market cap, it's possible. It's
possible.
Yeah.
If you were to pull up nomics.com, John, then you can see where Hex should be listed by market cap. And then, basically right now, CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, right, are basically they used to, every once in a while, if you catch it, they actually had Hex properly listed by market cap a few times, and you used to be able to look at historical snapshots on CoinMarketCap.com, where you would see the coins listed on the main website. You would go to like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and you would see the coins actually listed at totally different market caps than what they have on the main page. And then once they noticed people started looking at the snapshots of history, then they started deleting those as well, which is quite interesting.
Why are they actively suppressing?
Pump the coins that they like, because Binance bought Binance, the exchange, CZ, right, bought CoinMarketCap back in, I believe it was early 2019.
Like mid 2020.
Okay, it was mid 2020. Yeah, and then he's like, hey, we'll buy it for a few $1 million and pump my bags. So
smart move.
Smart move on his end, yeah. Not great for the entire crypto market, but
it's basically so they can keep controlling the whole payola thing. And that's one of the reasons why they don't like Richard at all, is because the whole crypto game is basically, it's payola, basically. Hey, I'll list you on my exchange. It's going to be $3 million. I'm going to need about 5% of the total supply of the coin just for liquidity. Liquidity. They're just dumping the coin on the followers. So that's why every time you do something on KuCoin, not KuCoin, but on Binance, it pumps on the first day and then it just takes the fattest shit right afterwards. And then from there, then it starts trading normally after that. But it's just a huge. Anytime a new crypto comes onto Binance, Binance is getting paid off of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, that's insane. I didn't know that they were fucking actively suppressing it like that.
Oh yeah.
Yep. That's why I was talking about it yesterday on my show as censorship resistant, which is one of the most important aspects of Bitcoin, right? Any cryptocurrency, censorship resistance is massively important. Hell, censorship resistance here on YouTube would be nice. But yeah, it's Hex. That's probably, in my opinion, probably the strongest part about Hex is the fact that it's had all of that shit dumped on it and still thrived. Absolutely. And so that just speaks to, the design that Richard did decide for it is actually working in the way he intended it to.
Yeah. Oh, John, I put the link in the private chat for you.
Oh yeah, I'm already looking at it. Oh, should I share it? I'm sorry, I've just been staring at this fucking chart. Yeah, no, it's fucking, here it is. Hex number 3. I was looking at this. Like, do you have this? Do you have this 7-day prediction thing unlocked? That looks interesting.
I haven't signed up for their thing to do that. No.
It's like
$100. You just built to hit it.
Online.
Yeah, it acknowledges data.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't even know that. I never tried that.
Wow.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. I think I did look at that a while back, and I was like, 7-day predictions kind of BS, to be honest. Like that's the part where they're like, okay, how can we make ourselves different from the other market cap sites to start getting popularity, right? Like maybe people will start if the prediction system works actually, but I don't know. I'm kind of skeptical about it, but
30-day mean error 8.64%. Methodology info, eh?
Yeah, I mean you can look it up and try it yourself. That's true.
Yeah.
So at least they're open about it.
So right now, if they were just being a third party and just posting the data the way it's supposed to be, Hex would be the third largest market cap coin by market cap right now. Period.
If at any point those websites decide to properly list it, you get everybody in crypto being like, you get a lot of people saying what is Hex. You get a lot of people who refuse to actually look into Hex and change their opinions on it, spurging out and saying it's a scam, and then you got the whole Hex community going, yeah. And then like, what do you think the people who, bought Dogecoin are going to do, right? They're going to look at that and be like, number go up. All right, I'm buying. And then,
bro, that would pump, if we got listed properly, that would pump us to like, disgusting.
Who knows? It would be crazy. Yeah.
It's because you don't need a lot of money to pump Hex. Like technically, like if I let's just say if I had $10 million in USDC, I could pump the price to like let's see, like $1.30, basically $1.30. So yeah, if I did a $10 million buy, of course I'm gonna get wrecked on the slippage. But if I were to do it on Uniswap, $10 million of USDC, I could 3x Hex.
Be like, we thank you for your service, bro. Thanks for pumping our bags and losing money for yourself. Right. So that's why nobody would do it, right?
Yep. Is Hex not listed with Binance? Says Joe Steiner.
No.
Because CZ wants payola. That's why.
Yeah. He's like, give us some money, give us some dinero, and then we'll list it. I mean, CZ's been like that since 2017. So
he's Chinese, man. He's like, hey, you want to shell your coin, don't you? I mean, hey, if you had the largest cryptocurrency exchange on the planet, wouldn't you do the same?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think there's this one theory that I have in crypto, which is, I forget what the meme was before. It's like, you hodl long enough, you become the villain or something like that we saw the other day. I forgot what that was, but basically it's like, you live long enough to become the villain kind of thing, right? It's like, look at Brian Armstrong from Coinbase, right? See any videos of him in different documentaries from, like 2012, 2013? He's just a nerd, right? Just a guy out there trying to make some money, and smart dude, and just trying to take advantage of the early crypto days, right? And then now he looks like freaking Dr. Evil, in some of the pictures that he has. I don't know, anything about the background information, but just, people obviously, you get these figures who become literal multi-billionaires, right? And it's going to change your worldview a bit. It's going to change how you interact. And like, I'm not saying all people are going to be corrupted absolutely by power, but it is something that is tempting to people.
I had no idea that there's active suppression and censorship like to this extent. Is this market cap verifiable?
Yeah, it's verifiable. That's actually the market cap right now. So actually, like if you actually know about what's going on with the numbers right here, like Bitcoin's market cap, if we were supposed to be fair and good, right, coins have actively traded wallets, Bitcoin's market cap would be lower than it is right now. Actually, like they still count Satoshi's coins and a lot of lost coins. So when you count circulating supply, it's just kind of a rule where like you have to count all the coins basically. That's how you do it, right? So with Hex, right, the OA owns a significant portion of the coins, but he's not actively trading them. But that's adding to market cap. Same thing with Satoshi. Satoshi in the beginning, he owned like pretty much most of the Bitcoin supply, actually.
Well, like the first block on Bitcoin, what was it? It was like the initial block was 50,000 Bitcoin.
Was it 50? I thought it was 50.
I think it was no. It was like 50,000. It was a good chunk of Bitcoin, basically. Yeah. And that Bitcoin's never going to move, right? Because if Craig Wright can prove that he is the real Satoshi and start moving those coins, then okay, Craig, we'll bend the knee to BSV, Bitcoin Satoshi's vision at that point. Right. Ain't happening, right? Yeah. And so, it's one of those things where, basically, there's going to be a amount of coins that are not used by Bitcoin because of that reason. But I think they should all be counted in the circulating supply because they technically, they could move.
So that's kind of the fair, because like with Bitcoin, right? There's 21 million coins eventually when it all comes out. So let's just say 20 million really like within our lifetime, and then well, really only like 13 or 12 million of that's really going to be actively trading around, really. So there's a good 7 million coins that aren't even like they won't move. They're just gone forever, basically. You know, and that's just kind of what it is. And that's for most coins. Most, like a third of most coins are pretty much, it's either lost or like it just never moves at all, basically. Yeah.
That is fucking insane, dude. That is like really. I'm like trying to look for holes in this.
I think here's the other thing, right? Like, I think, you know what, the information, I went back and watched a show that we did with the Wise Token guy. That was hilarious. But I just went back. I was like, how off were we in some of the questions that were being asked? And it's like, no, actually, we asked good questions. We just didn't know what we didn't know on some different things, right? And obviously, you know, by, you know, picking Miguel's brain on Hex and stuff over, you know, a couple months after we did some of those videos, right? We're like, oh, damn, like actually there's a lot more here. And so, you know, I went ahead and bought a good chunk and like let the price prove me wrong. And it did. And I was like, fantastic. Bump my bags. It's great. But it's like, here's the thing that I think people in different crypto communities don't like, right? And I come to every single cryptocurrency with a huge grain of salt, right? And I'm just like, why is this a scam? Even when I got into Ethereum, I bought Ethereum at $90. I just bought $1,000 worth. And I was like, okay, let's search the internet. Why is this not a scam, right? And why is this not something that's going to die? Those are the two main questions I had when I was first initial cryptocurrency investor, right? Came across Andreas Antonopoulos' video. I know some people out there hate Andreas Antonopoulos. Some people love him. Doesn't matter what you think about it. It doesn't matter.
That guy.
I don't know, but it doesn't matter what you think about him personally. He has put a lot of good information out there for people to understand what cryptocurrency is, right? And so I'm very thankful for that, because that I did learn and understand a lot of things from his videos in 2017, and basically, you know, I just tried to figure out why it wasn't a scam, and he was the person basically shed that light on why it's not a scam and why it's not going to go away, why it's not going to die, right? For all of cryptocurrency, right? I'm like, okay, cool. Now that I got that taken care of, okay, let's go out there and find the other information about, you know, how it can grow and all these different things, right? And so those were the questions we were trying to ask the people that we talked with during those streams, right? Is like, okay, we're trying to poke holes in it, is basically what you're saying there, right? And I think that's a healthy thing, right? In anybody who's trying to find out the truth, you got to look at both sides of the coin, both arguments, and poke holes in it. If you can't do that, if you just take the one side and say, okay, that's right because that guy said it, you're not going to get very far in life.
Yeah, exactly. I'm still blown away. I'm like trying to like wrap my head around this whole censorship thing.
Yeah, and I always actively tell people, don't listen to what me and Miguel say. Like, you can hear it and then go out and do your own research. Once you've done your own research and you're like, okay, these guys are telling the truth, these guys are correct, then listen, right? And then understand what we're trying to give you guys in terms of information. But we actively tell people, DYOR, do your own research, you know? We're just two you know, normal dudes out here on the internet that decided to help people make money. I mean, 3 dudes now, you know, the Moon Gang, baby.
3 wise men, baby. 3 wise men.
Eric Jericho says Cardano's number 4. Johnny made a good call on 2 cent ADA. Yeah. I knew that shit was gonna pump up.
A lot of people talking shit to you about that. I remember in the
rest
Telegram
in peace.
Yeah, a lot of Loukas.
Rest in peace, Loukas. We're gonna burn a Loukas effigy on the next crypto mindset group.
Hey, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. I heard he's been doing pretty well himself. So
we're gonna burn a Loukas effigy to start it off. Like how you know that the Tokyo Olympics have the opening ceremony. We're gonna burn a Loukas effigy. I
did say in February before the Corona crash in the group, like there was something about somebody posted about the normal stock market, and in the Telegram group I just said, okay, time to short the S&P 500, and Luca immediately goes, don't short the S&P 500, and like a week later, boom. I was just like, fantastic.
This is why I'm in charge, Loukas.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, John, go to CoinMarketCap and go to page 3, dude. Watch this shit.
Okay.
This is pretty trippy right here.
Page 3?
Page 3 on CoinMarketCap. Yeah, page 3.
Oh, 201.
Look at the market cap of Hex. 57. Yeah, so even So if it was 57 billion, so go back to the first page. Watch, so 57 billion, like that's like the fucked up market cap of Hex right there. That's not even all. They're not even counting it correctly. 57 billion would put it to be a little under XRP.
That is fantastic. I love it.
And I'll take that shit. You know why? I don't even mind them fucking around with the market cap, because it when people would see the market cap even wrongly on CoinMarketCap on page 1, it would make Hex look undervalued, and it would pump even more.
What
There
about,
you go. Perfect.
so what is their like corporate justification for this not being up to, like, oh, because of these certain blah blah blah? Like,
I don't like
Send
it.
an email and ask.
Yeah.
See if you can respond.
It's kind of illegal. It really is. Like they shouldn't be doing this sort of crap. Like just post the data. That's it. It's supposed to be just supposed to be market caps. That's it. Right? Sure, you can there's semantics with like counting some supply versus stake supply and all that jazz. But so there's a little bit of a wiggle room there. But like, dude, this is straight up like, okay, let's just say it is 57 billion, right? It should be on page 1.
yeah,
Period.
we need the Dana White meme. That's fucking illegal. Okay, let's go back to the video because we got more to go. Damn, this is crazy. That's crazy. Here's my biggest gripe with Hex. How they just say like you just buy the coin and the pumponomics is just gonna you're gonna get rich, and then like, you know, the tracking of the ether pumping, that like what makes me feel like, you know, it is like still shady, but the censorship stuff. If you see, here's the thing, I would become a diehard Hexican if I could verify the use case of Hex, because now that I know that they're being censored, as a guy who is censored, that really fucking pisses me off a lot. Actually,
Yeah,
it really pisses me off a lot. I did not know that.
use cases, mad gains.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's that's the thing. I'm like, the pumponomics.
So the use case stuff right now is being built out on Pulse Chain. It's going to have Aves. It's going to have money markets. You're going to be able to borrow on Hex, P-Hex, and all that jazz. But all that stuff's coming with Pulse, basically. So right now, it's just kind of the value token of the Pulse Chain until Pulse Chain launches, basically. Yep. That's kind of what's going on.
Angelo has been with us for 2 years, man. This guy's fucking. Well, he's now. I mean, yeah, basically, he's been with me since I think it was summer 2019 in June for Body Language Mastery Quarter 2 launching, and then
he's an OG crypto mindset first course goer.
He's a badass. So he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That shit is hard to do.
He's smart guy.
He's 36 now, 36, 37, but
okay.
He's a badass, bro. He recently had some fucking brain stuff he had to handle, and he's been beating that as well. He's fucking real. He's a real fighter, man. No, that we don't have a bunch of dummies in the crypto mindset group. Like we have doctors, we have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts. We have, you know, you don't know about this, Charlie, but my buddy has signed up, and he's a fucking Air Force fighter jet pilot.
Oh, interesting.
He's been paying attention in the shadows, you know.
Was it because there was another guy that I had talked to. I did a consultation with when he was still in Afghanistan last year, right? He was flying Apache helicopters. I was like, damn, bro. Like he was just like, I need to make money, you know, in crypto and like all this stuff to, you know, he had a lot of stuff he was trying to do in the States. I was like, mad respect, you know, that it's funny, like we have a consultation with guys like as they're at like their different military bases. It's like it's cool to help people in that way, right? Just to see like normal everyday people win is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I think that, but like I said, this is interesting. Yeah, like he says that we'll just continue to let him roll. But here we go. Let's continue.
That is what they have done in the past. And if you try and play this time as a different game, you're going to lose all your money. Usually it's not different. Usually history tends to repeat itself. Usually the market behavior rhymes. It's not identical, but it rhymes. And in my opinion, this is a bull trap. It's a return to normal. It's something that I've been looking for, been waiting for. It's come late. The market was so weak, we couldn't even get a normal bounce. You know, in 2017, we went from 20K down to 10K, back to 17.5. Everyone got long again and they got wrecked, and we ended up back down to 3K. And in this cycle, we went up to 65K, down half more, down 55%, went down to 30K. Now we've bounced back up to 50, and I think we're going to go make new lows now. And if I'm wrong and the market does want to start doing something new, hey, I already told you about the top at 65K. Are we at 65K? No, we're lower. We're at 47K. We're down 27%. So I will consider my thesis invalid, and I will consider that the market is doing something new if we breach new all-time high at 65K without making new lows. But I mean, this market looks weak to me. You still have people buying $1 million JPEGs. That's not sustainable. If we have a world full of people buying $1 million JPEGs, I think all those guys have to have the opportunity to sell the bottom and lose a lot of money and lock their losses in before we can go up more. This is a closed system. A lot of the gains.
I agree on that.
I 50%. I 50% agree on that. So I agree on the sentiment for sure.
Yeah.
The part that I disagree is I think we underestimate the irrationality that the market can get to, like this time compared to last time, right? Each time that the market has a peak, you get a different level of how this game is being played on a global scale, right? At the 2013 bull market, like, oh my God, they made it on CNBC. All of a sudden, people start talking about it on financial channels. That was a big thing for Bitcoin, right? Then all of a sudden, 2017, now the government's talking about it, right? And we need to, the SEC is talking about it. Now here in 2021, fucking every single country is talking about it. El Salvador is making it legal tender here in 3 days, which we talked about on my channel just during the last show. And then, you got BlackRock, you got Wall Street, you got some of the biggest financial firms looking to play in it. And it's another level. And so you're going to also expect another level of irrationality from the retail market, in my opinion. So he's correct in that sentiment, but I think he underestimates the level of spurg that the retail market can get to before we get to a blow off top.
Yeah.
What's a comment like? We can say wait. Can I say the R word on here? I don't even know if I can.
It's John's channel, obviously. So I usually just play it again. I couldn't hear it.
Retard alert!
Go for it.
Like the market can say, like we can say retarded longer than you can say solvent.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the power of the people, like long in retardation.
I love it.
We'll realize are from other people buying tops and selling bottoms, and they profit and enrich those that bought bottoms and sold tops. So I think over the next few years, you're going to see more and more gates open. Right now, Hex isn't on the front page of a lot of coin ranking sites. It's not. People aren't saying kind things about it yet. It has 100% uptime, is more secure than Bitcoin, is more price performative, has more features, and it's all opportunity. The best time to buy Bitcoin was when Satoshi owned all the coins. There was no volume.
You guys don't donate $100 right now. You're a beta male. You're a cuck.
Thanks so much.
You're blue pill for life. You better send me $1,000.
Appreciate you, Ryan.
Right now.
And that's
Last few chances to squeeze that DC opportunities, then Moon. Appreciate you guys. If you're gonna interrupt the stream, though, send $20
on the biggest
or just don't send anything.
changes. It was all Ghostland. That was the best time to buy Bitcoin. That is where the opportunity was. And to me, as someone that was in Bitcoin from the very beginning, I was mining full 50 Bitcoin blocks on my own with my own computer, no pool. You didn't even have to include a fee. It was free to use Bitcoin back then. You didn't even have to include a fee. Miners would include your transactions for free, no fee attached. I was in that from the beginning, and I'm telling you that the vibe and the energy and the excitement around Hex right now is even stronger, even greater than it was when Bitcoin was at its beginning. So when I send tweets and I tell you that buying Hex now feels a lot like buying Bitcoin did when it was $1, I'm very serious about that. I think there's a lot more potential now that Bitcoin ever had, and the price chart, bears that. It shows. You can see that what we have created is superior to what Bitcoin's doing. Do you think you're going to get a 10x in Bitcoin over the next 10 years? Do you think you're going to get 100x? It's very hard, very, very hard to move that market up because there's so much energy in it already that it's very hard to move the weight. I mean, Elon Musk.
Can you pause it right there?
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is the interesting thing about this part of the argument too, is he's talking to normal everyday people, right? Which is, great. That's the majority of the market, right? But why does Wall Street, why does Michael Saylor, why do these, high net worth individuals want to get into Bitcoin? When you talk to these types of people, they don't want a volatile asset. They don't want something that goes up a lot in a short period of time. Yeah, they'll take a portion of their portfolio in that, right? But they're not going to put, all their money into that. They're going to find, that's why gold is very popular, right? Because it's a store of value. And it's, obviously some people argue against that with all the paper contracts that are put out there on gold and blah, 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 blah. No, don't crucify me for saying that. But, just generally speaking, people have these different arguments for basically a lot of people on Wall Street. They just want that few percent to stave off inflation, right? They don't want, 100x gains, right? Because they're already rich. They just want to maintain their wealth and not get taxed up the ass on it. And so I think that argument about Michael Saylor towards the beginning of the video and then here, those 2 points kind of become relatively invalid. So, which is interesting. But then also you could argue that Bitcoin is banker coin, right? Like now is the opposite of what it was intended to be. not exactly. I mean, it's still people can buy fractions of Bitcoin and all that stuff. So it's just like there's going to be this progression of this. Like this whole technology space is less than 15 years old, right? So to expect Bitcoin and all of cryptocurrency to be fully working and perfect and all this stuff is kind of ridiculous. But I think that information right there is just kind of an important point to think about, because he's not wrong, but he's talking to a specific market. He's not talking to everybody who wants to be, if we want crypto to be mainstream, yes, you do have to have the rich people and the banks involved too, no matter if you hate them or not.
And, I wanted to say, with him calling this is a bull trap. So he is not a chart expert for what I know. I think he's
pretty good at, he's pretty decent at the charts. Yeah.
Is he making this more, but this seems to be more of a fundamental statement than a chart based.
This particular statement
that we're in a bull trap and then the market is inevitably crashing down.
He was using fractals. If I'm not incorrect on that, I looked at his Twitter post where he said about it, and he's basically comparing like how 2017 moved, down after that, and then he basically took a fractal of what happened in 2017, overlaid it onto the price here at 64,000 going down, and then basically when Bitcoin bottomed to flatline there, it was around this. It would have been the same percentage change down to like $10,000, and so on at least the picture that he put on Twitter that I saw, that was the logic behind it. And fractals are a legit thing to try to compare different times and assets around the same types of patterns, but it's a pretty fucking simple argument. And I think,
that's what I was gonna say. It's like it's a pretty lazy argument. Like it's like, okay, this chart from this time matches this chart now, and so we're going to 10K.
Exactly.
You don't like, I don't think people
ignoring a lot of factors.
I don't think people could liquidate Bitcoin fast enough to get it down to fucking 10K. Like you'd have to have a lot of fucking people dumping that shit off to get it down to 10K, right?
Yeah, I mean, and everybody right now is so fucking.
The market cap would have to drop by 80% if I'm just like off the top of my head, because it's 50,000 now. So to get down to 10K, 80% of the market cap would have to go. Right? Is that right? Is that
a lot of money would just have to absolutely leave the market? Yeah.
Yeah. Where's it gonna go? To the fucking S&P 500? We're gonna long the government.
Elon's going to steal it into Tesla.
Low, it's just market manipulate. I mean, they'd just be in stable coin. The money, I don't even think the money would leave the exchanges. They'd just be waiting for it to, because they're just trying to. I mean, obviously, this is something that we were talking with Plan C and stuff that we were talking about, and that we were talking in the course as well. That the longest holders of BTC have been accumulating. Anyone who's an OG, that's anyone that's been holding BTC, and then BTC is kind of like the average crypto user, just as an example, right? So anyone that's been holding for over a year has been accumulating more. It's only the noobs that are selling, basically. So they're just trying to shake out new retail who aren't used to the crypto game, basically.
Shake out their lunch money, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, that's fucking insane, dude.
One thing before you press play, the other. Right. What was the other argument that he makes? He was like, "Yeah, the world's richest man, Elon Musk, already bought crypto. Who else is going to buy it to pump the price, right?" I think I love the gusto with the argument, right? Like the attempt, But like, I also think that's a pretty ridiculous statement. I mean, when there's the market cap of all crypto right now is $2.3 trillion, the market cap of gold is $10 trillion, the market cap of fucking Apple is what, like $4 or $5 trillion. So if the native currency of the internet, which is Bitcoin and then therefore Ethereum and the rest of the cryptocurrency space, if the entire cryptocurrency space cannot make it past in terms of market cap, past the stock valuation or market cap of Apple, and this is a financial revolution, with all of these projects, if it can't do that, then it's not going to affect the world, right? And so it will do that, because it will change the world, and it's already in that. It's an inevitability right now that's where it's heading this decade. So since we know that, there's trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars out there that have not yet come into the crypto market cap or have come into the crypto space at all. That's why you get large institutions like BlackRock and all these other institutions on Wall Street that own a lot of the world's wealth. They can't even buy enough cryptocurrency or Bitcoin even right now to make it worth their while, right? They buy a little bit just because they want to start understanding how this industry works, not because it's actually going to make them make money, right? They shit on like $1 trillion, So anyways,
it's insane just to look at the fucking manipulation that's going on with the censorship. I'm still taking that in.
Isn't it trippy when you really start making a lot of money that you realize like how much they're just like the people who have the power and money in the system just want to like basically you are like it's sort of like this. It's like if we're in the Middle Ages, most people would be fucking like literally starving in the street, plebs, basically. And if you just look at it relatively, like people are out here like losing their mind for like $15 minimum wage, and like there's people that have access to trillions.
Yeah.
Trillions of dollars. And like it's and if you think about like when you reach that sort of level, when you reach 8 figures, 9 figures and stuff, that like we're paying like some of these dudes must be thinking to themselves like we're paying these fucking doctors chump change to work all these hours. Like it's kind of like it's like I come from a blue collar working, sort of thing, like I did landscaping and irrigation work and stuff, and I know how hard working a lot of the guys in construction and roofing and all that industry. I mean, like it's great money compared to everyone else. But when you start when you know the people who have money and what kind of money they're doing and how hard they're working for it, you're just like, holy shit! Everyone's getting paid like lint out of their pockets.
Well, they're sacrificing the 2 most important assets in your life: your health and your time.
Time,
right?
Fucking hell, man! The time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just insane, dude. There's the time. The time in itself is just, it's devastating, dude. Absolutely devastating.
This is why I recommend people read the book The Sovereign Individual, because it talks about a lot of these things, and I think and it relates it to how you look at what is happening in cryptocurrency compared to the entire human history, right? I pinch myself every goddamn day, and I'm just like, this is fucking fantastic, right? We're literally living in the most profitable time that any human on earth could have ever lived in, right? I'm just like, this is wonderful. And it's great. Hex is a part of that, right? Bitcoin's a part of that. Ethereum is a part of that. All these different cryptocurrencies. Solana is a part of that, right? I love it. Like, it's absolutely the best industry in the world. And we need to have, if we're going to build out a new financial system, we need a certificate of deposit blockchain. We need a store of value reserve currency like Bitcoin. We need, a smart contract system like Ethereum. We need a bridge like Polkadot and Cosmos. We need all these different projects. Right. But people get so lost in the sauce in crypto, they start being like, all right, let's take my pitchforks and I'll join this team because I'm only going to buy one cryptocurrency. Right. And that's, it's true. It's just,
the pitchfork statement is hilarious.
It's just like mob mentality, right? Tribalism. And it's understandable because it's human psychology. But, so I understand it. I don't like fight it. But at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like, when you finally do get one enemy like the Federal Reserve that unites all of crypto at the same time, like it's kind of like putting together what's like the transformer, right? Like crypto by itself is usually just whatever, but then once you actually start threatening it and you get like the transformer, crypto just gets into like, beast mode, right? Gundam style or whatever. Like all of crypto together is like a force to be reckoned with. And I just love when that shit happens, because once you see all of people from cryptocurrency focusing their energy in one direction against the true, people who are trying to make, whether intentionally or not, or just by the way the system is designed, the majority of people serfs or poor, or at least keep them that way, then, the Bank of International Settlements is where we should be directing that energy.
Yeah.
That's wild.
You know why they care so much about inflation too? Is just because what they're afraid of is just money getting into people's hands. That's all. That's all, like half the taxations. Like the federal government doesn't even need to tax anybody. They can print money. The only reason they're taxing you. I mean, the states are the only ones that actually need tax revenue. That's it. But the federal government doesn't need to tax anybody because they can print it. But the reason they're doing it is, so this is the beautiful thing about crypto, is it teaches you the system in ways you can understand it. Because we didn't learn boomer terms, and they have this game so sewed up that it's like, so with all these highfalutin words and all these fucking lawyer speak and all this double talk that you can't really truly like understand the system. But with crypto, right, since we're kind of building this whole ecosystem from the ground floor with building blocks right now, because we're still in kiddie mode right now in crypto. What's going on is, what the government's doing is a supply. It's called the supply sinks. supply sinks. So they need places for the dollars to go into where it doesn't really go into the open market. So the reason they tax you so heavily, well, one, they don't want you to do well, but two, it's so they basically only want you to, they basically want you to work your whole life and really only spend 10% of your money, while they get to spend the rest off of the money. Because not only do they overprint, so they could print a certain amount and get away with it, but then they overprint on top of that. They're spending your money by printing and then giving it to their friends and stuff, and then they're like, "Oh shit, we overspent. Fuck, how do we get this under control? Oh shit, let's just tax these motherfuckers more."
Yep.
So that's all they're doing.
Yep. Simple, but it's effective and not in a negative way for most people.
Let's finish this up. Then I want to talk about the Bob Loukas video after this, because he adds a way more sobering tone to the market than this one. There's obviously a lot of emotion in this video, but he's an emotional guy. It's not a bad thing. Passionate.
That much. That's rough. So if him buying,
I'd be fucking pissed if I was the number 3 cryptocurrency in the world and I was fucking censored.
Yep. Yeah, I would be too.
Move the price. Who are you going to get to buy to move the price? It's hard. And then you've got other things coming out, like Mt. Gox has 140,000 Bitcoin they can dump on the market at any moment when they release them to their creditors. You know, there's risk involved there that just doesn't exist in some other things, like say Ethereum. You know, Mt. Gox doesn't have any Ethereum to dump on you. Mt. Gox doesn't have any Hex to dump on you, but they do have a lot of Bitcoin Cash and a lot of Bitcoin. So, you know, people forget about the possibilities, and there is a lot of possibilities that the market just forgets about. They think it's only up forever. Nope, it's not always up forever. Sometimes there's dips. And how often? Usually we do 3 years of up, 1 year of down. And we've done this multiple times. I don't know why we wouldn't keep doing that. Are fees high? Are people overspending on silly things? Is the price run up insanely fast? It's a good time for a dip. Now, when Bitcoin dips, does Hex dip? No, Hex tends to go up in my opinion. When I look at the chart, when I see Bitcoin dipping and Ethereum dipping, I see Hex going up. It acts as a safe haven. Well, that's a miracle. A safe haven that can go up 4,000x, that's a lot. A safe haven that can go up 4,000x is basically world-changing innovation. I don't think we've ever seen anything like that before.
So yeah, I've noticed that too. I think we're gonna see a market. It's a 60-day cycle low that's coming in September.
Yep.
And I think this current all-time high of Hex, I think it's a little fueled as well by Kiyosaki. Even saying what's Hex, by him just saying what is Hex, people are like rah, like buy more Hex. You know. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just shocked. He straight up asked me, "You think Hex is better than Bitcoin?" Out of nowhere. I was like,
"You're too old to give a fuck." He's like, "Bitch, I'm 74. Get straight to the fucking skip the foreplay."
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh man. So here we go. We got second half of this here. So this is part 2. Before we continue, guys, don't listen. If you find this, if you've learned anything on this fucking time that we've been going now, we've been going here for only an hour and 20 minutes. You will learn infinitely more in the crypto mindset course. And listen, you can't get in after Tuesday at midnight. You will be locked out of all data because neither of these guys will be streaming. You have to go watch some other second-rate YouTube fucking channel about cryptocurrency. And I mean, this is if what we're about to show you now doesn't change your mind, then there's no hope for you. Like then you are lost, Anakin. You know, with the crypto mindset course, you're going to get 20 live webinar education sessions, and they are a minimum of 2 hours each. So you're going to get a 40-hour minimum education. But honestly speaking, it's going to be way, way, way more. I'm telling you, like this is coming up on the 1-year anniversary, and there's no break. And you think there's no breaks on Hex? There's no breaks on the cryptocurrency course, which is a crypto mindset course. It's legit, man. And you can click the link right here. You can go to modernlifedating.com/crypto. I'll put the link in the chat as well. And you can also sign up there. What do you guys got to say about that so far?
Oh, it's been fantastic. I maybe as we're listening to some of the stuff with Bob Loukas, I can see, you know, how many people are currently in the course. We can talk about that. But yeah, people in the chat already in the Telegram chat have been enjoying the conversation there. A lot of people helping out, you know, some of the newer people, which I see a lot of people who have been in crypto for some time, right? After like 2 or 3 or 6 months, they think they're the smartest people on earth, which, they're smarter than a lot of people around them. That's true. But like, they kind of like, I'm kind of above teaching newbies or helping newbies. It's like, well, if you have that mentality, then the space isn't really going to grow all that well. Right. So I do really take pride in seeing guys like, I think Tex-Mex was in there basically doing his best impression of Greg B. Helping people get the new information in there in the chat. So, props to Tex-Mex for, taking his time out of his own personal day to help, people who are maybe newer to cryptocurrency to get their exchanges set up and get the right information there. So it's just nice to see people actually doing teamwork in a community that actually helps each other out, right? And so we take care of the new people, and it's an opportunity for people who've been in crypto, let's say for a year, to actually do the process, which I do recommend people do, which is see one, do one, teach one. Start taking this information in, then actually apply it and do it. Take more in, apply it, do it, but eventually start trying to teach somebody. And it's very hard to find somebody in your real life that's willing to take that information on. But if you go through Telegram, the digital world, right, a lot of these people are willing to take on that information. They're here for that purpose. And so it does help solidify that information in your brain. That's like at least 25% of the reason why I started doing YouTube about cryptocurrency was simply to, solidify the information. I already understood cryptocurrency very well, and I already understood it at a high level. Same with Miguel, same with John. But by having to go onto YouTube, refine our thoughts into, coherent, instead of just babble, right? Basically, being able to explain this to people definitely sharpens your sword. So it makes you really understand what's going on. And kind of Einstein was attributed to this quote, but I'm not sure if it was actually him. He said something along the lines, if you can't explain something simply, you probably don't understand it fully, right? Or you don't understand it. And so, I think a lot of people, the two aspects of the crypto mindset course that they don't take advantage enough is helping other people, right? Which actually helps yourself. And then also in addition to that, networking, right? I think that's probably one of the underutilized aspects of the course. Just being in that chat with the hundreds and soon to be thousands of other people, being able to say, hey, there's a group over here of 20 people from the UK. Hey, there's a group of 20 people from Australia, from Canada, from America, from Panama, from Mauritania, from wherever, and they can actually meet up in real life and be like, hey, let's have a little meet up and kind of swap notes and have a beer, have fun, enjoy life. It's like pretty cool to see when the Moon Gang and the hot dude army come together. It's a very good meeting of the minds.
Definitely.
What would you say, Miguel? Because you didn't even have like a brand before you even got into this. You were just a guy, like just out there, kind of just
got his Anchor podcast before the Moon Gang.
Oh yeah, the podcast, yeah.
That was a dope podcast, bro.
No, thank you, man. But I was back then. I was just a lot more private, and I was just kind of debating whether to come out into the limelight. So I kind of
it's a hard decision.
Yeah, no, it's really hard. Some people you just want to stay in the shadows, basically. But
yeah,
I basically just felt kind of like a dick for not trying to go out here talking about crypto. So I was just like, let's just do it.
Yeah, and, too much information to share with the world, bro.
Yeah, and I wanted to link up with two crypto bros that were red pilled. So I mean, I couldn't pick you guys were the best in class. I mean, seriously, man, that's why I went to you guys first.
Yeah, likewise.
I mean, I'm just saying that, like, in regards to what we started off doing in the beginning, was we were just two dudes that are just like, something's got to change. We gotta like teach people about this shit. And then we both got pretty burned. Did you get pretty burned in 2017? I got super burned. You came out with a little bit, right?
I was able to like basically with my Ethereum change it from 10 to 100, but then I spent about 40 of them.
I mean, like profit wise, like, did you make out any profits in 2017 bull market?
Yeah, I did make some, but it wasn't like, I mean, compared to what we're making in this bull market, it's nothing. But but at the time I thought it was fantastic. It was six figures, and I was like, this is great. But it's one of those things where it's like, once you get the 6-figure mark, you're like, it's not really, you could spend it pretty quickly, right? It'll take 5 years maybe, or whatever, but you could spend it. And then when you get to $1 million, you're like, shit, this is also, $1 million ain't what it used to be. Right.
Yeah.
And then
10 million is the new million.
Exactly. So it's like that's the real benchmark, and then once you get there, you're like, well, why not 100? So
I'm already 10% of the way there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So every bull market, I think like it's just keep if you make it to the out of orbit and then you make it to the moon, why not go for Mars? Why not go for more, right? Not because you're greedy, but because you can do that. You can use that to ensure your freedom for the rest of your life, which is probably a very important thing. And then you can do what you want with your time for the rest of your life. And I think that's what a lot of people getting the crypto mindset course are trying to do, right? Is they're just trying to devote some time here now because they know delayed gratification will pay them off later. And then they can retire at the end of the decade because they know cryptocurrency is going to take over the world this decade. Like it's going to be a phenomenal, 10 and a half year or 9.5 years left in this thing. Not to say it's going to die in 2030. I'm just saying like, if you thought the first decade in cryptocurrency was going from magic internet money to, something with a little bit of a use case, now going the next decade, what do you think it's going to do? It's going to become a geopolitical tug of war between governments, individuals, and corporations. It's going to be interesting to watch. There's going to be a lot of FUD along the way, which just gives us more times to pack our bags. So I love it.
What a time to be alive, man. What a crazy time to be alive. Sam Prashansky, $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Get into the course this time before Charlie and Miguel have no longer have time for us plebs. That's true. That is true. Karn says, I'm very thankful that MLT was so vocal about crypto. Gave me the last push to stop being lazy, looking into it. I think I'm the only men's dating coach, men's coach that actively does a crypto show every single day.
Well, I remember we went to a Bitcoin Cash meetup with Roger Ver back in maybe it was 2019, right? And there was one guy, it was at that Mexican restaurant here in Tokyo, and we were just having some food and maybe some margaritas and stuff. And the guy, we were like, hey, you should watch the Tokyo Crypto Show. He's like, oh, that sounds cool. He was like, what is it? We showed had him do it on YouTube, to subscribe. And he's like, on a dating channel. Who wants to listen to crypto on a dating channel? And I was like, one day you will know, sir. One day you will know.
Oh, man. and that guy's got to wake up and be at work at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
That is true. He bought Bitcoin Cash. That's why.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, tying into the whole our corner of the internet, red pill, Bitcoin, whatever, right? I mean, it's all the two things is both sides just say, hey, just be who you want to be and be part of the community. Miguel is literally a Mexican dude in California, owns a fucking business. Do people know what your business is?
Yeah, they know some of it. I've said it. Yeah, I own landscape and irrigation businesses.
Just checking off every stereotype.
Yeah, every stereotype, bro. Literally.
God damn it, John.
Charlie's a white guy from Minnesota,
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm a mixed race guy from fucking Miami who happens to enjoy having sex with a lot of chicks and just doing whatever the hell I want. And that's just this is crypto. It allows you you no longer have that boomer image of success. Okay, here's fucking Bob and he has a suit and he goes in the office and he works 9 to 5 and he goes to church on Sunday, and only that way can you become rich. And if you don't do that, if you don't do it that way, you're a bad person, whatever. And it's just it's 2021, man. You can, girls are selling pictures of their asshole on OnlyFans and becoming millionaires. So you know what I mean? If they could do it, why can't we with crypto? You know what I mean? Yeah.
I know this is a totally intellectual discussion here with InfoWars being quoted and all that, but this really does go back to the sovereign individual, right? It was back in the Middle Ages where the church was you literally cannot become rich in your life, right? And you cannot become wealthy, if you do not pay penance and tax to the church. And now it's paying tax to the federal government, and the federal government's getting so fucking ridiculous with that people are going to say no. Right. And you're going to get cryptocurrency is Martin Luther going up to the church and just being pounding the
list of grievances.
Right. The list of grievances there on there and just being I ain't going to take this shit anymore. Fuck you. And, the establishment does not like that. And they probably will chop some heads off for that. But it's the way the world progresses. So it is what it is. Learn it or have fun staying poor.
Let's go to our second video. How are we all doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. I have to do a consultation after this, but hopefully the guy's watching, so he's learning something.
Oh, listen, if you're watching this and you're not learning, there's no hope for you. Like,
Yeah.
True.
There's no learn. Press a 1 in the chat if you've learned something new during this episode. Put a 2 if you've learned absolutely nothing. Let's go to this.
And you will be permabanned if you do so.
Bob speaks really slow, so I think maybe 1.5. We'll give it a go at 1.5.
Yeah, I usually listen to him at 1.5, and it sounds like relatively fine.
Greetings, everybody. This is Bob Loukas on August the 17th, 2020.
Maybe too fast.
Yeah, maybe turn up the volume a little bit too.
Okay. His volume,
just a little bit.
His volume is super low. I have to turn it up on my end. We'll go 1.25.
21. I hope you're all doing really well, and thanks for being here. This is yet another video, another installment in the 4-year journey, a journey now that dates back to December of 2018 at the depths of the last bear market. And at this rate, we'll be approaching the 3rd anniversary of this series in a couple of months. It's been a few months since the last video, I think almost 2 months. Of course, a lot has occurred since then. And we've got a lot to cover today. I polled.
We're going to skip straight to the charts.
Start with the video with that idea. So let's go into the 4-year outlook from a chart perspective. All right, starting to look from a quarterly perspective, each bar representing 3 months. And
so this video, just so you guys know, this video was released August 20th. So it is relatively new, just for the most part.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
And my first initial takeaway is that the secular, the 10-year, or the price action over essentially the entire life cycle of Bitcoin remains firmly up. The trend is firmly up, and I see no break in that. The 10-bar moving average is up, and we are comfortably above the 10-bar moving average. So from a secular standpoint, this looks fairly controlled. And if anything, the most recent pullback is essentially just reverting back to the rising mean right here. When we scroll down and zoom in a little bit down to the monthly, okay? So on the monthly chart here, we are now taking a look at the candles here. We are now 31 months into what it obviously should be a roughly 48-month cycle. A cycle, of course, measured from one low to the next low. Where a cycle peaks is irrelevant from a measurement of the cycle. The cycle is measured from the low to the low, and where the peak occurs is typically influenced by the longer term direction trend of the asset. So in a secular bull market, you expect the peak of that cycle to occur much closer to the next low than you would on the other side of that equation. And that's simply because in a rising market over a longer term period, you need to spend more months or more time in a rising manner than you do in a declining manner. So far, since Bitcoin's inception, we're seeing right translated cycles where the peak occurs roughly around the 3-year mark of a 4-year cycle, followed by a 12-month declining period in the bear market. And we've seen that in the last 2 4-year cycles. At the moment, we have a peak that occurred back in April. And if that were to occur, this peak would not fit at least the prior 2 cycles. And 2 cycles is obviously not a large enough sample size to have extreme confidence in. But when you look at Bitcoin from a market cap perspective, you look at Bitcoin from an adoption standpoint and the growth standpoint, it does to me appear that atop this point in the cycle of a 4-year cycle would be premature and would not fit at least my understanding or expectations of where this cycle should peak. And that peak from a price perspective would only be around about 3 times the prior peak in 2017, meaning from a peak back 4 years ago, that price would only be up 3x for an asset class like this. Seems to me to be premature. So
you agree with that, Charlie? I mean, I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it's one of these things where it's like, when you look at the old cycles of what's happened before in Bitcoin, generally speaking, right? September of this year would be the earliest that you would kind of consider like a cycle peak if the similar thing is going to happen to the previous cycle. So both Richard Hart and Bob Loukas are saying this, right? The 3 or 4 year cycle, and then a 1 year bear market, and then moving on, right? Both of them have said this in both of these videos. So I he's saying here it would be premature. It would be because basically September to the end of this year was roughly the gap that the people who follow the 4 year Bitcoin cycles were guessing, and maybe January, February as like a late peak, maybe, right? So like September of 2021 to January of 2022 is basically where people were guessing if it was going to do the exact same thing as it did before, right? In all previous cycles, that's where the top would come in. So the fact that it came in April, right, is a bit early compared to what we would expect based on past history. So if this is the top, this time is different. So even if Richard is right, and the top has already happened, then it is actually divergent from the past. It's not exactly the same as the previous cycle. So I think Bob has a pretty good point here.
I think that's a pretty good statement too when he says from this last cycle high, which basically was 19.5, right? Give or take. It was like what was it? It was 19.8, was it? 2017?
It was 19,666 actually.
Oh, Jesus.
On the Bitstamp.
Oh.
Yep.
Mark of the beast confirmed.
Bitcoin is the mark of the beast. That's for damn sure. Yeah.
Fuck it. Mark me up, daddy.
Why do you think Richard called it hex?
There you go. So then, from there going to only 60. What was the market high? 65, 64? Was it 65 this year?
64,000 and like 400 and some change. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So only a 3x would be
underwhelming.
Just disappointing.
Yeah. If you look at the basically the percentage gains on each of them, it should be about like a 3 or 4 times decline from the previous percentage gains in previous bull markets. And if we did that, we'd have about a 3,000% gain from the bottom of the bear market, which was there at the end of 2018 from 3,100 and some change, like 3,180, and a 3,000 or so percent increase from there would be roughly around the $190,000 to $100,000 mark or so. So the fact that we haven't hit that, Bob, bless his heart, hates the laser eyes in crypto because he's like, man, this is getting too fervent for me, which, I understand, but I love it.
All these kids out here with these memes, how dare you?
He scolded me. He scolded me for having laser eyes on Twitter.
Oh, really?
This year,
way.
yeah. I tweeted at him. He's like, "That's great." He's like, "That's great advice, but take those laser eyes off." I was like, "Okay, Bob."
Wow.
Did you say it, Bob? Okay, but like, I respect him 100%.
And then I got banned again for like the millionth time.
Bob reported you.
Oh man.
But yeah,
go ahead. You want to say something?
Well, it was just the last thing I think I was just finishing off that point, but I forgot what I was going to say at the end of that point, but because but basically that was it.
I'm going to play this, Charlie. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to run to the.
Okay, I'll fill. I just remembered the point. I'll fill it that point while you go and do whatever you're going to do. So basically here, what I was going to say, me and Miguel could have this conversation. I was having with his golden gorilla the other day. But basically what I was going to say was, so he was against the laser eyes, right? But if you just look at what we should be getting in terms of percentage gains on Bitcoin going to 100K, it's like, that's expected with the pattern that we've seen so far in gains in previous bull cycles. That would be the minimum expectation, right? And so I'm like, I'm okay with the laser eyes because that's fantastic. It's a fun way to enjoy the ride, right?
Right. Enjoy the decline, like Happy says, right?
Enjoy the decline and enjoy it with fucking laser eyes, bro. And I mean, what would you say 100K is basically inevitable for Bitcoin, or would you say this is a fantastic unicorn which will never, or pot of gold at the end of the rainbow which will never exist in our lifetimes? I know what you're gonna say, but
it's pretty. It's so like it's 100K is gonna happen. It's just gonna happen. Like I think me and you were saying like 120, 130 being kind of like the top for this year, at least for BTC, which is fantastic. And then we can get another 2x, 3x out of their max for BTC for next year, basically 3x being a little bit, really on the high side, but still possible, basically, if enough certain events happen that we talk about in the crypto mindset course. And we'll go into more detail with that, obviously, because it's a big part of the ladder in, ladder out, as well as just the overall, orientation explanation as well of just making
that's
sure
gonna
that
be
you guys.
fun. Dude, the first 2 avatars are gonna be fucking fun as hell. Yeah, hit you with the left, hit you with the right. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Like we'll be like Muhammad Ali out here.
But yeah, let's see.
What would have to happen for Bitcoin not to hit 100K ever?
I mean, Craig Wright Satoshi.
yeah. In that case, I might.
I'd be like, bruh. It would have to be something crazy. I mean, it's inevitable, but I mean, it would have to be like an insane amount of like dumb stuff. It'd have to be like Mt. Gox selling, Craig Wright Satoshi. They find another bug in the code. There's like just it has to be like
Vitalik actually works for Russia.
Yeah, like everything bad, like pretty much like 51% attack from China. Like everything has to go bad for it not to hit 100K. It's that terrible, basically.
Yeah.
The United States government says ETF, Bitcoin illegal. I mean, it have to be some craziness basically for that not to happen.
Yeah, and when I so the reason I'm playing the videos in these orders as well is because I don't even subscribe to Richard Hart's YouTube channel, but Mac sent me that video, and then after I watched that video and he said $10,000 Bitcoin, I was like, I need like a counter dose of reality. So I went to fucking Bob Lucas's thing and I watched here. And I was like. And I was just like, then I sat down objectively. I was like, there's no way. Because when I watched Richard's video, I was like, oh, is this motherfucker onto something? Like, are we going to go to 10K? Like, just shows you how the power of watching something can influence your perception. And
yeah, I
was just like, then I watched Bob here and I was just like, yeah, that 10K is like, 80% liquidation. Like what Miguel was just saying, like, Mount Gox, like fucking, something comes out like the US election is something else, and then fucking Putin gets killed and North Korea launches a nuke, and like Craig Wright is Satoshi Nakamoto. Like everything would have to go wrong for Bitcoin not to hit $100,000 per coin.
Right. I mean, yeah. I'm not going to say
it. Say it.
Like pretty no, I can't say it. No, it's got to do with Android 19. I can't say it.
All right, I'll play.
So my takeaway from the monthly chart is that we are still respecting at least a 10-month moving average, and the 10 bar normally is a moving average I like to use for respecting a trend, and we pulled well above that 10 bar moving average recently with that run up, courtesy of these 6 monthly bars. And my belief here in this 55% decline, which if you look at prior cycles is not something we would expect. My belief here is that we overshot, at least from an intermediate time frame perspective, overshot, and we are spending both time and price retracing back to a level that we can reaccumulate from and continue the 4-year cycle. But I think that's changed a little bit.
Can you pause it right there?
Dynamics of the cycle. So
yes,
just
I agree with this 1,000%.
Yeah, one of the reasons why we overshot is Wall Street likes to play with leverage margin trading, right? So we got new whales in the space, new people buying 1,000+ Bitcoin in a wallet, right? What are they going to do with that position? Is they're going to start doing leverage trading, and now that's dumb, but why? So, well, they do want to hedge their bet, right? So leverage is a way in Wall Street where they use it. They come up with a position. They're going to use leverage in the other way of the position, just in case, right? So they're going to try to make it as much of a no-lose situation as possible, right? And so and then you get retail coming in and being like, "Ooh, this is nice. Like, let me leverage trade too," And then you get like the price running up faster than expected and basically overshooting itself, like Bob says here. And that's also why we got such a pretty big dump in terms of in April for Bitcoin and then May for Ethereum, is washing out all of that leverage. So, that's something that I think Richard Hart doesn't take into account or doesn't talk about.
Because I think from a top view perspective and where we think this cycle may top, In the past, obviously, I've shared the idea that the December timeframe looks more likely, and that's simply because the prior 2 cycles went 3 years up, 1 year down. So the natural, at least best guess or expectation would have been to suggest that by the end of the year, around that period, that's where we would see somewhat of a blow-off top occur. But I think with this consolidation and the need to probably reaccumulate for a number more months, I think we need to move the window. And again, the window in a cycle, the window, timing window is very fluid. And there will come a time, and I'll cover this shortly, in the future where I believe a 4-year cycle will not spend 3 years rising. It may spend only 1 year, and it may spend 3 years declining. And that's what a left translated cycle is. So the peak can occur left of the midpoint or right of the midpoint, depending on where the longer term trend is going. So while the trend is higher, we expect the peak to occur much deeper into the 4-year cycle. So for that reason, I believe now that
and that's what Charlie and I have been saying since January. We've been saying like since January, in December, we're gonna see some crazy shit. People were calling us psychos when we were saying Ethereum's gonna be $2,000.
I know.
January. People were like, you guys are crazy. Like I had people in my in multiple Telegram chats that I'm in, like people were just kind of like, all right, this guy's a little fucking weird, you know. But I was like, no, like Ethereum is altcoin of 2021, you know.
Yeah, I was telling that to a lot of
non-censored altcoin of 2021.
Yeah, I was I was telling people that, you know, in my real life and stuff too, and they thought a lot of them did think, yeah, you're batshit crazy, bro. Like, and then spouting all the FUD that they hear from the media about crypto in general, right? And then as soon as it gets like past $1,000, the smart ones, right, started hitting me up, and they're like, so what did you say again about Ethereum going to $2,000+? I was like, now you're listening. I like it. You know.
You know who hit me up the other day on LinkedIn?
No.
Simon.
Oh, nice. Nice. I need to have lunch with Chambers one of these days.
Oh man,
we should take him out to lunch next week.
We should. He's a good guy. It would be nice to casually gloat.
Well, he has a thing or two we can learn from him. He when it comes to some of the charts, I mean, he's a fucking boss. In our office back in 2017, man, he was definitely, you know,
he's a good guy.
He was telling people the right moves. Like I made some money trade. He's one of the people that inspired me to learn charting because, you know, I wasn't like into the same type of charting he was, but basically, I was like, holy shit, there's a dude like literally that I met in real life who like is like a soothsayer, alchemist of crypto and the stock market, right? Who can actually predict where these things are going to go. I remember when we had Jamie Dimon FUD in September of 2017, he was like, Bitcoin's going to take a dump and like there's probably going to be some FUD around it or something, but then it's going to like come back and pump. And I was like, sounds good to me. And I was just like at the time just taking all the money and just being like, you know, throwing it into crypto, right? And it was just like, you know, that is it's a skill that, you know, Bob has honed here as well. And, you know, you can use it for good or for evil. You could use it for different things. And sometimes you don't need it. But I think, you know, it's a good way for people to understand what's going on in the markets. There's always been these people saying doing the charts, it's like reading the tea leaves, you know, all that bullshit. It actually fucking works if you're good at it. So I do, you know, recommend people to try to figure it out because it is very hard, but it is worthwhile to understand what Bob is trying to describe here, because this information that he's giving is like based on like at least 20+ years of financial experience. And so, you know, when Bob talks, I fucking listen.
Oh, yeah. No, that's for sure. I'm always looking at his YouTube channel to find when he's got new videos.
Yeah. I don't use tea leaves. I use chicken bones.
Yeah, exactly. And a few voodoo dolls within there. It all works.
Yep. You get any Santa Maria candles too? While we're all going all the stereotypes.
I got a couple.
Probably the earliest we can be looking for is December, and more likely to be now at some point in the first half of 2022. And
something Charlie also called.
Yeah, Miguel as well. I love when fundamentals and technicals come together, right? Because like Miguel say some
perfect timing. Brian says that's what FA and T is like. Super Saiyan fusion.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you get on-chain data analytics within there and chain analysis. You add those two, and it's like it's almost the what do you call it, the infinity gauntlet, right? It's just one of those things where it's like when you have multiple sources doing totally different types of analysis and coming up to basically the same conclusions, there's probably something to it.
Right.
People are like, well, give me an absolute date. Give me something more concrete. And the simple answer is, as I said in the beginning, we just don't know. We need to be adaptive and fluid with these expectations. The only thing I have a lot more confidence in is where these peaks, where these bear market declines, these savage bear market declines occur. And I believe still that at the end of next year, there will be some significant selling into what will be a 4-year bear market cycle low. But up until that point and getting to the peak of this current 4-year cycle is something that we will adapt with. So my view here is that window now is at the earliest December, more likely to be probably January or February, and may go as far as July. So the next question becomes, well, how can you have a July peak, for example, and then just a 6-month bear market? Well, again, if we are restricted in our views of what a cycle may look like, and think that it could be a year down, well, then we start to really restrict the possible outcomes that we're willing to accept. And that's not something we want to do with cycles. We want to be flexible with that. And the reason why we may only get a short but very significant bear market decline, possibly just 6 months, is that one, Bitcoin can easily, over a very short period of time, essentially give up significant ground. And by significant, I mean 60, 70, 80%. You can see it basically in this one candle. This is a 55% monthly decline. Maybe let's call it 2-month decline from the peak in April to the lows at the end of May. And if you have 6 months worth, then you could easily see how we could see a 70% or even 85%, as we did it last cycle, decline over just a short period of time. But the main reason why I think that could occur, and this goes, I think, a little bit towards the lengthening cycles argument. And for all of you out there, I will be having another collaboration this week with Benjamin Cohen on cycles in general and my views and sharing a discussion on his views. I believe what we're setting up for is a blow-off, sort of a double blow-off move. And I've shared this almost from probably one of the earlier videos back in 2019, where I believe the next cycle is more likely to occur left translated. And I think that goes firmly against some of the other folks out there with certain models that are based on supply issuance, for example. But I believe if we look at examples from technology and other asset classes, over a longer period of time, over a longer cycle, and I'm calling it a 16-year cycle, which is a common time frame cycle in other asset classes as well. So 4 times 4-year cycles. I think we could see a period and a period of multi-year consolidation and declines. And those aren't necessarily bad for Bitcoin or crypto in general. It's just a reflection of the need for an asset class over a longer period of time once it obtains a much wider adoption and much wider distribution, and price has overshot sort of some underlying value, or at least a value in today's time. It needs just longer period of time to consolidate. But those are good periods of rebuilding or building further layers and getting much deeper into the technology.
I just want to say, like, sometimes when people watch this stuff, they may find this boring, but like for me, this is like, you're muted, buddy.
This is good information. There's one thing.
Listen, I had an opportunity to go on a date with a girl earlier this year, and she was making it difficult. I was like, you know what? This new Bob Loukas video came out. It's an hour long. I'm gonna put it on the big screen TV. I'm gonna pop a bowl of popcorn. And I'm gonna hang out with Happy, and I'm gonna watch this shit.
No regrets.
Great. No regrets.
Yeah, no regrets at all. The one thing I'll disagree with his presumptions here. So, what he's looking for is the extended bull cycle argument, right? Which is correct. It's correct to go in that direction. And that's the argument that Benjamin Cohen is putting out there. Now, the limitation, right, with that, with just doing cycles analysis is you're looking at trend versus time, but you're not looking at trend versus price as much, right? So this is the thing that in 2017 I really liked, is just for whatever reason, the Elliott wave analysis in terms of a macro trend and also just spotting different types of trends in crypto or in any market just kind of appealed to my psychology. And now Bob has shit talked Elliott wave analysis in the past. And so, remember Hyjin Lee?
Love Hyjin.
Hyjin is such a good person.
What a
such
sweetheart.
A good,
good man,
I love fucking Hyjin Lee. Great dude, right? Fucking genius when it comes to Elliott waves. But I won't get into it too much. But basically, Bob was like, "What's this Elliott wave stuff? I've never heard about it." Right? And so, but I've actually from May of 2019, right? I had a video on episode 30 of the Cultivate Crypto show where basically I did both time and price analysis based on trend. And so I think if you go back and watch that video and you pause it, you can see I actually had Bitcoin going up to 60K in the first quarter of 2021. And then I had Bitcoin going down to 30K by middle of 2021, and then going up to 240K by smack dab in the middle of 2022, right? And not saying, that it's going to stay that way 100% correct. The wave, that was the wave going from wave 3 to 4 to 5, right? If people who are familiar with Elliott waves will know, but go back and watch that video and you can kind of see that type of analysis, and it's playing out to the T, right? That was when Bitcoin was $8,300. Mm-hmm. And like I called Bitcoin, in that video, basically on the chart, if you kind of pause it and zoom in, and I actually did purposely put, okay, what would Elliott waves do based on percentage gains and losses in the past, and how would you take those ratios and put it onto the chart in the next bull market, and then how would you adjust the time basically for what Loukas is doing here with the Bitcoin cycles, put those price and time together, right, the X and Y axis, then you get a pretty reasonable guess. And so it's been playing out pretty good. I made fun of my 2019 self in April. I was like, Bitcoin's not going back down to 30K. Oops. But I think going into next year, this is one thing that this type of analysis right here is correct on the idea, but he's missing that one part of the element, basically. I think that's, a detriment to, kind of just ignoring different types of analysis. But anyways,
I think it's too bearish. I think it's too bearish.
Well,
personally.
So exactly. And the reason why it won't do that is because we're going from a wave 3 to wave 5. So we would, that cycle low that he has there going into, let's say, 2023, right? I would say instead of like a double cycle top, what you're going to get actually is this is, a full 5-wave sequence to the upside. So we will have a relatively brutal bear market.
Do you want a counter chart right now?
Sure.
Just to give it more, because I think explain
right
a little bit.
It's easier to show than to talk about. I agree.
Shout out to Extra Guac. He said he just bought the crypto mindset course. Shout out to you, man. I'll give you one of these bad boys. I was gonna play the Onichan, but I can't. It'll scare people away.
Do it.
I think I have to retire the Onichan. I don't know. Too many people.
No, you can't retire Onichan. I love the echo.
Sign up, it equals 1 Onichan. Oh, Rolo's in the house. The content is relevant to me. I think that's a WWE thing, it's real to me. You remember that WWE meme?
Okay.
Right.
Kind of.
We're gonna counter chart right now to show you versus. I'll say this: I love Bob Loukas. I think Bob Loukas eventually will be a guest on the Tokyo Crypto Show as well.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
I think Bob Loukas is a fantastic individual, like a good man. He has a family, he takes care of them. All you hear like this. You can hear like little hints of him being a good person in his tweets.
Oh, for sure.
I think that now that being said, I do think he's a little bit of a boomer. I think if Bob spent 50% of the time that Miguel spent in like Discords and Telegram chats and like crypto meme warehouses and stuff, like he'd be as based as we are. But I think that's also the traditional markets, because the majority of his life he's been doing the traditional markets. So he's kind of like has that, that kind of, he doesn't understand that this motherfucker can launch quickly because it's crypto. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean he does, but he forgets that sometimes. Yeah. What were you
going to say? If you actually look at the Bitcoin chart, like imagine this is like, so from the bottom there, right, where it says 2020 right there. The next one to the right, right there, that bottom. Imagine from there to the tippy top. That's pretty much all of the 2020s, effectively. That's kind of what I'm figuring right there. So if that's the top in 22 or 23, that first little scroll down a little more. The next one down. So right now we're going, like, let's just say we're heading up into that. Basically,
right.
we're gonna go sideways down a bit and then pop back up, and then I mean, pretty much. I mean, like, this is something that I've been saying since the beginning of the crypto mindset course, is that we're effectively doing the roaring 20s.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We're in the roaring 20s, and if you actually look at it, right, it's just micro dips. I mean, it's dips of like 6 to 8 months, and then boom, back blasting for 2.5 years, then micro dip, boom, and then blasting off. Then from there, then that major sort of sideways action where we have a brutal bear market is, I think, is towards the end of the decade. It's in the 2030s. It's not in the 2020s.
Yeah.
There's no way. We're still going exponential right now. When you can essentially double, like you can double it 2, 4, 8, 16. You can do basically almost 2 to 3 doubles in terms of how much people are in crypto. Because right now there's like 1%, and I'm giving it 2%. That's being like generous, right? So, but let's just say if I wasn't being generous, right? 1, 2, 4, like 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, right? Or 4, 8, 16. That's like 4 doubles there. Basically, that means there's basically 4 cycles, and even if the cycles are get even shorter, as you just have huge dips and stuff like that, the leverage starts shooting up, and then that's effectively what ended up happening in the 1920s. Was as less and less of the retailers had more and more money, what ended up happening is the leverage went up towards the end of the decade, to the point where like the average person in the equities market was about 10x long.
I'll say this too. I do think, like, with everything that's been happening basically since 2016. I think we are kind of at the beginning of a great reset, but like not a World Economic Forum version where you eat bugs, nothing. I think like we are just at this point, and like a lot of people are like doom and gloom. A lot of people, like, I was talking on Rule Zero last night, and like, Rich and some of the other guys, like, that's it. Like we're going into the gulags. Like, vaccine passports are here to stay, and we're screwed. And this future is gloom and doom. And I was like,
nobody fights for it. But we will.
But I mean, look at what's happening even in Florida. How, like, if you ask for any kind of proof of vaccine, do you know about that?
Exactly. Yeah. I read about that just the other day.
$5,000 fine. Vaccine passports are illegal. I think that it's just too many people are just a little too quite frankly wrong about what's going to happen in the future. I think the future is going to be good. I mean, look at what's happening in crypto. Like I said, I mean, it's a little bit of a joke, but like people like Tom Bombadil are getting rich. Like, there's hope for everybody. Like, there's massive hope, because this is an equal opportunity chance for everybody out there. And that's what we're providing in the crypto mindset course, with all this information. If you think, like I said, we've been going 2 hours now. If you think you learned anything here, dude, wait till we actually crack out the goods in those webinars. I'm ready for my eyes to bleed personally.
yeah, definitely. And I mean, this chart, I haven't come back to this chart very often, but this is a chart. Cody Mouse can attest to this. Cody Mouse is usually in the house, but maybe not today. I made this chart with these lines here when Toad and Vase was calling for Bitcoin to go down here to like $1,000 or some bullshit, and so I emailed this to the 10 people on my email list back in March or April of 2019, but basically I put here, right, Bitcoin was in this kind of no man's land area after the big drop here in 2019, right? And around this time, right here, this week here, this little red week before, this green candle that popped up here, 4,200, that's when we started the Tokyo Crypto Show. So, don't say we never did nothing for you, but most people weren't paying attention at that time. So shout out to Greg B and Tony for still being here. But regardless, I just put this, instead of trying to predict the market, I just said, if it goes above this level here of 4,250, we're in a bull market, right? The bear market could be over. And if we go below the previous lows, right, then the bear can continue. And especially if we got below like 2,500, then it's like, death to Bitcoin. Peter Schiff rules the earth and Bitcoin goes to zero. But, we've been watching this for quite a while. It's not like we just came out here on YouTube yesterday, right? And looking at the Elliott wave charts, along with the cycles that Bob is talking about, you have a wave 1 here. Technically, a wave 2 could have finished here, but we had what you would call black swan event, right, which basically elongated that bear period. And then we have basically the wave 3. You could either argue that it's here or here, but we'll just put it here for now. And then the wave 4 basically being done with this low in the 30K. So you can either put it here or here. We'll basically put it here just for neatness sake. And then we'll pull it out here and we'll bring this up to our target, which is in the mid 2022, let's say July. And then let's put this up towards that good old price of, maybe around the 4th of July, right there. Happy Independence Day, and make sure that you do stay self-sovereign and independent with Bitcoin. And we're going to put that, where's July again? There we go. Around $240,000. Like, it's hard to get it exact here, but roughly around that place, right? So in terms of time and price, that's what we're aiming for. So, I mean, it's going to look pretty nice. And, here's what you can do.
Bitcoin from this point in our life right now.
Sorry?
That's roughly a 5x on Bitcoin, right? From where we are.
Right. Exactly. It's it's right to that point. We might have a blow off top that goes slightly above or stays slightly below that region, but that's basically where we're aiming to. And one thing you could do, right, is you could take a fib-based trend extension, take it from the bottom here, and go here, and bring it over. And actually, you notice you can get a little bit more precise with it, right? And you can be like, okay, that actually extension to 3.618. right, would be here at about 250,000, maybe 252,000, somewhere within there. By that point, $1,000 or $2,000 or even $10,000 move on Bitcoin is not really going to mean much. Yeah. So that is, by Fibonacci standards, very possible. So, okay, it fits Fibonacci, which is what Elliott wave is also based upon, right? So it fits the Fibonacci sequence basically here, which is found in nature, found in charts, found in human psychology in general. And we say, okay, this is a 5-wave structure. So, okay, where could the bear market be? All right. So in terms of, so I'm just looking at price, not time, which Bob is looking at time. We pull that up to, let's say it does do that 245 or something. And we pull back, right? We could, if we're going to continue in an uptrend, right, for Bitcoin, then this, in terms of the long term, minimum pullback would be here to 150,000 basically at the 0.382. A major pullback or normal size pullback would come here to about 94,700 sometime maybe in 2023. That would probably be play out. And then a major pullback would actually come back down here to about 50,400. If it does break this area and goes back below the previous low here of, let's say, $30,000 or $28,000, then you get what we would call like an extended bear market, right? That would be the danger levels. So for people who are going to be watching this stream, let's say in 2 years, when you're trying to figure out the next bear market, don't say I didn't warn you. But basically we can get kind of something like this, where maybe it comes back down here, right? In late next year, kind of pops up maybe into the early part of 2023. Then boom, you get like this, what people will call like, a ridiculous bear market. But actually it's, if we do come here, let's say into late 2023, and we have a bottom here, maybe into early 2024, right around, let's say $50,000 to $60,000, that's higher than the price is at today. So if you bought Bitcoin below, basically, in this case, if this does play out, basically below $55,000, you are winning. And there is actually some arguments out there by people like Willy Woo who say the actual fair value of Bitcoin is about $55,000 to $60,000, based on a lot of different metrics. And so having this part of the market be the exuberant part, the blow off top, then having a pullback here, that makes sense. And the funny thing is if you go back and you look at the macro Elliott waves, right, like on a monthly scale, and we pulled back even further, and we go back, right, and we're saying this is a sub count of an even bigger trend that we have here in crypto, which this is debatable, of course, but and not everybody will agree with this type of analysis, but you could say a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave basically a wave 3 here, a wave 4 here, and then a wave 5. Is this basically what you would do here? You would, getting a little technical to be honest, but we would go and say this is like a higher cycle than the one we just counted here. So we'd make it a little bit different. Maybe even put it as a different color. Let's give it green for all the gains. And then you'd actually say, okay, so that's actually 5 waves, right? So we're in that last wave and we have 5 sub waves dividing that. But what are we actually doing here? Well, if you go one step higher in the trend, basically this is a wave 1. Then we have this bear market being the wave 2. And then, ooh, baby, wave 3. Hopefully he's still in crypto. I'm joking. This is the next bull market going to the roaring 20s, as Miguel says, going into maybe May. Like here, we're just not putting any specific date in terms of time, but like towards the end of the decade, right? Have actually like a ridiculous bull run here from, let's say, 2025 through the end of the decade. Like it could just get, you just have this massive just wave of like awesomeness that happens in crypto. Like it's going to be glorious. And then, I mean, that's just, if you look at it from that perspective, that's one way you could look at it. So that's the time, that's the price perspective on where this thing can go. And obviously, in terms of the numbers here, I didn't put the exact numbers on where it can go afterwards and blah, 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 blah. But just generally speaking, that's kind of what we're looking there in terms of trend projection or trend analysis. Then now we take that analysis and we put it onto what Bob's saying with lengthening cycles. And I think, like Miguel said, he's maybe a little bit too bearish. And so I think we have to understand 2 things: where we are in terms of the trend, and then where we are in terms of the time. Right. Both X and Y axis. If you can get those 2 things figured out, boom, all of a sudden, and then you go into the fundamentals, you go into the on-chain data that's happening with Bitcoin, you understand all the things that's happening with the macro economy globally, and you start learning all these things, and all of a sudden, put these different data points together, and boom, it's all this stuff is not just pulling it out of our ass and saying this is what's going to happen. It's just saying, no, there's actually a very good data that shows that, the next bear market might be substantial, might be a year or 2, whatever, but the next bull market, man, could be fire.
It's because this bull market that we're in right now, wherever we call it, the 22 or 23 top, whatever we call the cycle that we're in right now, I would almost consider this a VC DeFi DeFi cycle, basically.
Yep.
The amount of VC investment in this cycle is going to keep all these coins around into the next cycle. I think Charlie and John have said this before in the past, that this cycle hasn't had as much retail as 2017. Basically, so the next cycle is really when we get the retail adoption in, and that's when we have a 2017 craziness, basically, where we just just absolutely rip, basically.
It's a fucking Andromeda galaxy, baby. Here we go.
I mean, it's so if let's just say we hit $250,000 in this one, and then the next one we hit a million plus, and that doesn't sound like a lot of X's. But comparatively, right, that would put us at about, let's say, $1 million BTC would put us somewhere in the $20 trillion market cap for BTC. $20 trillion. That put Ethereum bare minimum $10 trillion.
Yeah,
right.
And that's that's in our current inflated in dollars now.
Correct.
So who knows what the hell's going to happen.
Adjusted for inflation after we look at the meme of the Citadel, right? You still need to aim for that 100 to 1,000 Bitcoin to enter the top levels of the Citadel. Just if anybody's asking.
I go, my bags are packed, baby. Yeah, my bags are packed. I am. I like I said. I've been lucky enough to have access to these guys for over a year now, just as my friends, and being able to have private conversations with them. Because typically you guys at home watching, you're getting so much value from a one-way conversation with us, basically talking to you, and we read your chats once in a while, and we're able to kind of and then vaguely interpret what you mean by the context of your chat as well. But when you're able to have a full-blown conversation, like I just got to say, I mean, I know, Charlie, you definitely feel the same way, but I just feel so validated now. When we started,
vindicated.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. Because I mean, I remember even at some points during this bull cycle, you're like, man, we ever really gonna see that shit like 2017 again? I'm like, best belief, bro. Just trust. We're gonna do it.
That was last year. I was saying that last year. I was like, no. When you were talking about Kusama, I was like, swear to God, Charlie. In September, I was like at home watching you. I was like, he's talking about Kusama. I was like, Charlie's gone off the deep end, man. I mean, I'm sitting there like eating popcorn, just like this motherfucker has lost his mind. And then here I am with a whole bag of Kusama now. Like, and I wish I
10
got in
times
at
price,
that.
higher price. Yep.
I wish I got in at that price as well, man. Because I mean, like, it's crazy. It's so crazy. You know, what's funny too is like the goals we had initially getting into crypto were so like peasant level. Like my goal was like I want to be able to buy a house, and now I'm like, fuck that. Like I could literally buy like 7 houses right now. I mean, depending on where, if I go to a place like Kentucky where they like sell houses for like $80,000 a pop, like I could have like a legit like fucking Tiger King harem thing, like 1 house per girl. That thing would be legit.
House as well.
Oh, that would be super legit. Max says he sees that's happening. He's like, I just see you guys so rich that you're just gonna fucking have like a house per wife that you are dealing with and have kids with each of them. He's like that's the peak. He's like, that's the peak alpha state. He's like, really, you could have openly have children with multiple women and they all know about it and they all like report back to you. He's like, that's what kings used to do. He's like, that's, and he's like, even Mac was saying like, you know, Mac, I'll just say this. Mac,
I know you can go on a rant right now.
Mac took a 4-figure investment and now it's 6 figures because of Hex.
Yeah.
And even he was like, I set my goals way too fucking low.
Yep.
Way too.
And we told him the first time, like he was like, "Oh, this Bitcoin stuff's low." I'm like, "Give me the phone." Up. There, you got some Bitcoin and Ethereum, like it. You know, a week later, it's dropping. I'm gonna lose all my money. Should I sell? No, bro, just chill. And then, like, once he starts making money, he's like, starts to listen. He's like, "Okay, like, what's next? Like, what else can I make money on?" I'm like, "Well, you can make money on Hex." And he was like, "Really?" He's like, "Isn't that a scam?" I was like, "Well, I used to think so, but I did some research and consulted one of my top advisors, Dollar Cost Crypto, aka Miguel, and you know, no, it's not actually. You can probably make a lot of money on it, right?" And he's like, "Okay, how much should I get?" I was like, "How much you got?" Right? And so he bought some, and yeah, he's very, very happy man.
And now it's got to the point that he shit talks me. He's like, "You were wrong about Hex." I'm like, "Fuck you, Mac. You are in crypto because of me. Shut the fuck up." You know.
That's funny.
But you know, he does. You know, in our private chat, he's always shit talking.
Yeah, we just have a good time.
No, it's good time. It's a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just crazy. Let's go back to Bob here. Let's because we're gonna wrap it up after he's got done talking about this chart. But again, pay attention. If you're, like I said, if you're getting data from this right now, guys, the data you're going to get in the crypto mindset course is far more superior. Click the link in the chat right there. Use that one, and it will be immediately forwarded to Charlie, and he'll receive a notification. You could tell us when you sign up in the chat. We'll shout you out on this live stream as well. Shout out to Extra Guac. Guac. Oh, he already signed up. Did we get any? Did people sign up during the show?
Oh, there's been plenty of messages. I think my assistant's been taking care of it, so some of them are off the thing. But if anybody new jumps in or whatever, I can say their names. The most recent one was a guy named Louis M. So congratulations and welcome to the Moon Gang.
There you go, baby. We're gonna get going. Let's go back to Bob because Bob is super smart with this the charting here.
So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I believe we could be looking for a situation where we have a peak up and again, numbers and throwing out targets. I know a lot of people like to hear targets, but for me, they're mostly irrelevant. I'd be looking for time peaks, a peak in a certain time window, then looking at shorter time frame indicators and also sentiment in general. So what are people talking about? What crazy stories are they concocting at certain points? And if we get up to the $150,000 and $200,000 range, which I think we can get to, then I'm looking for narratives like it's going to be a super cycle to $1 million. Just don't sell right now. It could be $1 million by the end of next year or something like that. And those types of cues I'll be taking for when I would be looking to possibly exit out of the market, or at least take profit, or at least do some hedging, whatever the response will be. I will be looking to sell down my position up in that area. And some people also ask, well, how can you sell Bitcoin for fiat or dollars? Well, over a shorter period of time, it's okay to be in another asset class if that asset class is going to outperform. And the dollar can easily outperform Bitcoin, just as it did in the bear market in 18, and periods before that. That Bitcoin declined 85% versus the dollar. So do I really care if inflation's at 6% or 8%? I don't. I want to be able to protect what I've been able to achieve if it gets to that point, because I want to be able to buy more Bitcoin in the end. I want to be able to come out of this with being able to, at the end of the next bear market, being able to buy back in. And for example, using the model portfolio as just one example, if we bought 25 Bitcoin for the model, I'd like to be able to get 400 Bitcoin for every 25 I put in at the next bear market low, if it can be executed correctly. And it's not going to be perfect. I mean, nobody gets it perfect, but that's been the whole point of this journey from the beginning, is being able to stay the course over a 4-year cycle. The hardest part was getting in at the very bottom and being able to buy a couple more times at significant capitulation points in the cycle. And as I've been trying to help you with this entire period, in the emotional journey and the emotional, what it takes from an emotional perspective to be able to weather the volatility and the ups and downs to the eventual point where the 4-year cycle peaks.
We got some questions in the chat I want to handle real quick. The Black Croc says, I bought the course, but I only have watched 3 videos, but I didn't make 120K during that time. Should I enroll in the new course? You should enroll, and you should pay attention to more than 3 videos, and you should participate far more than that. If you just think you're going to watch 3 videos and make 6 figures, well, I got an alert for you, and that's
retard alert.
that's come on, man. That's pretty retarded. Lord Griebenschmalz, should I buy the course and watch it later? Have some projects, don't have time. And yes, I'm working on them right now while listening. Yes, you should, because this data, even if you could squeeze in 2 hours a day, 1 hour a day, each presentation will be labeled as well. So the ones that are like, if you know how to onboard in crypto,
and timestamped.
So if you know they're going to be labeled and timestamped. So if you know, like, oh, I know how to buy crypto. Oh, I know how to set up my exchanges. Oh, I know this already. You can go through it faster and then pull up the data that you need with absolute certainty and be more efficient with your time.
One thing I recommend to people is if they do basically, because we had a guy who was a trucker, right, who's like, I want to help my family gain more wealth through cryptocurrency, but I'm out on the road during your course. Like, what can I do? I ended up having a consultation with him afterwards to make sure that he got, basically, he's like, I did this. Is it correct? Right. Having a consultation afterwards to make sure you did the right things, or maybe you didn't do enough, also does help. But then in addition to that, basically what I recommend, people who are, I mean, we all have busy lives, right? Take those webinars, right? There's 20 of them, right? Divided over the course of the entire quarter, right? Listen to as much as you can during the live webinars or during the course itself. Participate, ask at least some questions, right? Don't lurk in the background if you don't have to. And then also, if you divide that up by 3 months, that's basically like 1 to 2 to 3 videos a week, right? So you basically take, let's say, 3 videos a week, and you finish it early before the end of the year, right? Going from October through December, right? That's 6 hours per week. You divide that up by 7 days. It's a little bit less than an hour a day. You spend, if you're trying to actually make 6 figures, can you spend an hour per day from October to December, right? To make 6 figures. Now, if you ask somebody, do you want to make 6 figures in a year? Would you take a job that, right, you accept for 6 figures in a year? The answer is yes. How many hours a day do you have to work for that? 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, right? So 1 hour a day for 3 months. I mean, it's a tall task for some people, but an hour a day for 3 months, you'll definitely get the full value out of the course, and you'll be head and shoulders above other people. Or go work a 9 to 5, or continue to work a 9 to 5, right, where you put in 8 hours a day and you don't get 100K even. So I'm not saying 100K is guaranteed, or none of these things are guaranteed. You have to put in the work. I mean, listen to what Richard Cooper says there. It applies to cryptocurrency and investing in all aspects of life. If you do not put in the work, you do not get the rewards.
Yeah.
Simple.
The more you want it, the more you're going to get it, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll say this, you have to look at the opportunity cost of your life. Okay. First of all, factor in this thing. You're going to die. All of you. If you can hear me, you're going to die. All right. Second of all,
damn, that means me. It sucks.
You're going to die because I'm going to kill you.
Oh, fair play. I expected that. Kind of expected that. At least it's now on the internet, so everybody will know.
I'm telling you, I'm going to kill you, then I'm going to kill myself right after.
Oh, well, okay then. Yeah, I guess it'll be worth it.
Hello, darkness, my dear friend.
You guys are gonna die, right? And so the thing is you gotta ask yourself, if you're gonna buy this course, right? What's the absolute upside of this? You learn how to manage a completely new asset class that is 1,000% verifiable and accepted by the highest form of financial literacy right now, Wall Street. Wall Street is absolutely giving cryptocurrency the stamp of approval. So if you at home, you don't have to go to Harvard, you don't have to go to Yale, you don't have to go fucking intern and be a slave at Goldman Sachs. From the convenience of your household, you can sit at home and learn and become proficient in this cryptocurrency knowledge, and then potentially make yourself some extra money forever. Because it's not like you sign up, you learn how to, we tell you buy X, Y, and Z, and that's it. No, you learn. We don't give you fish in this course. We teach you how to fish, and we're going to teach you a skill set for life. And think about that. Think about having the ability to just go to your computer, tap your keyboard once a quarter, once half a year, whatever, and have a little bit of expendable income. As little as $10,000 extra per year, or up to like $100,000 extra per year, right? Ask yourself, is it worth paying $897 measly dollars and showing up to the Telegram, showing up to the live fucking webinars, going to the unrecorded question section, as well as rewatching the recorded parts throughout the duration of the next 4 to 6 months? How is it not going to be worth your time? That's my question. How is it not going to be worth your time? Because the upsides are just way, way, way outnumber the downsides. The only X factor is, are you willing to put in the work? And if the answer is yes, then this course is for you. Sign up, because it's closing at Tuesday at midnight, period.
Yep. And if anybody who is following John does want to pay in cryptocurrency, they do get a 10% discount. Just, when you send me the email, basically send me an email at charlie@cultivatecrypto.com. And in the subject of the email, say pay in Bitcoin/Ethereum, or whichever one you're going to choose. And then also put, MLD, or like that I am purchasing under MLD, and will attribute that cryptocurrency purchase to John as well. So either way that you want to do it, we'll be good to go.
Let's go back to our man, Bob Loukas.
So I see a situation where we can get up to that point.
We got some echo.
Oops, sorry, I got the thing on. He's only going to go for a couple more minutes here.
Yeah, it's all good. All good.
I want to skip to this next section too. There's two. This goes up to like right here. So from here to here is 3 minutes, and then I want to go from 27 to another 10 minutes there. And he does waves as well.
Sharply decline, and then go for a final, more impulse-like run to a absolute bubble peak. A bubble peak, say, into the end of 2023, possibly into 2024, followed by a bear market that may be spurred on by some significant worldwide coordinated regulation against crypto in general, an attempt by the powers to be to really put a stop, or to slow down the mass encroachment that Bitcoin and crypto in general is placing on traditional finance and traditional power structures. And there will be, and I've shared this with you before, and you're already seeing the rumblings of this, there is fear from traditional sources on the growth of Bitcoin and crypto in general. And therefore, there'll need to be a natural response from those groups in order to try and get ahead of it. I think it's a futile attempt in the long run, but in the short run, don't underestimate their ability to really put the brakes on this for some period.
And that's like, for example, the infrastructure bill. I don't think it's going to put brakes on it at all, but
yeah, slow it down for like a week.
Yeah.
Time. And then the industry as a whole will have to come to a middle ground, perhaps meet some regulation, fight some regulation, invent and code around some regulation, or with regulation, for example. So I see that coming in the future. Again, the further out you go, the harder it is to accurately to have a good look and be right on some of this. But I think to expect that there won't be some type of significant attempt to stop crypto in general, I think is not a very sound approach. So I see that coming, and this is where again I think you get sort of some idea of a lengthening cycle. In my interpretation of a lengthening cycle, if we consider this, and if you look at this, if we go up to, say, just throwing out numbers, 200 and back down to 60 and up to, let's call it 600 or 500. In the end, this will look like the peak, and this will look like the peak, and this peak here.
And just so you know, this is Bob Loukas. He's an extremely experienced trader. Charlie's not just pulling these grandiose numbers out of his ass to shill course fucking sales at all. Like, if you look at experienced people throughout the world, regardless of their race, their age, where they're located, I mean, these multiple six-figure numbers are 1,000% in the question at hand here. There's no you can't leave them out of whatsoever.
Yep. And you can use traditional market analysis. You just have to adjust it for how the crypto market behaves. So a lot of what Bob has brought here is from the traditional Forex market, right? When I do the 60-day cycles on my show, I every once in a while I say the 60-day Bitcoin Loukas cycles, or I say thanks to Bob Loukas, because I did send him a message and say, hey, I'm going to start a YouTube channel in 2019. He was like, yeah, good luck, I'm sure. But like, then, I was just like, can I, reference your cycles? Because I do think they are very, very valid when it comes to the 60-day cycles, right? I'm disagreeing a little bit more on the yearly cycles, but, he was like, yeah, just attribute to my name. And, obviously he borrowed that from the Forex market, and, nobody reinvents the wheel, basically. So, but when he has 20 plus years of traditional experience plus experience here in crypto for at least 5 to 7 years, definitely worth a listen.
Right.
Here would look more like just a retracement up to that. So, in my view and in my work, these two peaks are part of two different cycles that spurs on the next bear market. And if we get something like this, I think we may be in a situation where we may not see another high for the rest of the decade, because by the time you get to the next low, which actually would be around the 2027, 2028 timeframe, it could take a good 2 years to that halving to be able to climb out and reach an all-time high again. So it may not be until 2030, 2031 after that peak where you then get another new all-time high. Again, these are ideas and they're not actionable necessarily today. What's actionable is the portfolio that we have in front of us and how we execute on that over the remaining months and possibly a year and a half or 2 years into the next expected cycle low. Which brings us to the question I think was asked almost the most, if not the second most, in the comments, and that is, did we already see a top? And I like that so many people have asked this, because it just goes to the amount of fear that is out there at the moment in this market. Looking at a weekly chart.
So we're talking about now, because again, I'm not throwing shade at Richard, but he's saying like, did we see a top? Richard said that we absolutely have seen the top of Bitcoin, and now it's going to crash down to $10,000.
He said absolutely, maybe, right? Because he did give the caveat for if it goes back above 64K.
Right. But here Bob takes his stab at it right here.
Chart. And I named this video The Last Hurdle, because going to what I said earlier, we don't know, we don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. And there is a probability high enough for me to acknowledge that there is a chance that the market, the 4-year cycle, did top. And I talked about that in the last video. But it's not my primary view by any means. I give it something like, if I had to give it a percent, maybe a 15 or 20% chance, it's a reasonable chance. But there is a chance that the market topped in this area. And therefore, this first initial decline was that first drop from a top. And then this is that impulse counter trend move up 3/4 of the way to the highs, call it a bull trap in this area, before continuation in a bear market. There is that chance. But I don't think that's what we're seeing. And if we do get a drop down from this point and we start to make a test towards a $30,000 level, then I personally will be reducing a significant amount of my exposure at that $28,000 level. At this point, I don't see, at this point in the 4-year cycle, where we are in the depth of the cycle, I don't see why we should be heading back to test 30,000 and we shouldn't be going below 30,000. I don't really see a scenario right now either where we drop sharply down and V all the way up. So I would be protecting my downside protecting my portfolio with a drop below 28,000. I can't tell you exactly how you will do it. Okay. The most simple answer generally is you sell down some of your position, and hopefully if you've been following the journey at 28,000, it's still close to an 8 times return on your portfolio. Now I can appreciate not everybody's in at that level and at different levels, but I'm hoping you're in at reasonable levels. So for me, it would be a combination of selling down some position, but mostly also hedging through some derivatives, for example. And that's a topic that's not really well geared for this video series. I'm not a financial advisor. I can't tell you how you would do that.
That's some pretty advanced stuff right there that he's trying to say right there.
I would simply be selling
down. Pause it and let Miguel talk about that.
Yeah, I highly recommend not to do derivatives or anything like that. Because
No.
You're going to get chopped the hell up. So let's just say you were following his advice to a T. Basically what he's saying is take a little profits here. You guys, if you guys have been following me for long enough, you guys should be up at least 8x. Some of you guys got in a little later and should be up 5x. And he's basically telling you guys to do the rule of 3. Take out your principal or take out principal plus profit. And then see how it shakes out, basically. And then if it shakes out to the upside, then you can buy in higher, but at least you don't get wrecked. And if it goes lower, you get more coins. That's what he's saying.
Yep. And that strategy is a strategy that it's the same thing that we say, right? It's like we make some of these things that we talk about look easy. Bob does as well, right? And when you hear some people say this and you try to emulate it, you can do some of it, but you can't do all of it. Like if you're trying to do exactly what Bob is doing, he has 20 years of experience in this, right? You're not Bob Loukas, so don't do it. And same thing with what we say in the course, right? Sometimes me and Miguel do some things that maybe, kind of bend the guidelines a little bit. We can do it because we have experience in this space, but probably not great to do the exact same things in that regard. So it's kind of like the do as I say, not as I do type of stuff. We don't mean it like that, but it's just one of those things where when somebody has as much experience as Bob, it's like, yeah, he can get into some things that for other people would be very risky, but in his case, he knows how it works. So it's different.
And the one thing I do disagree with Bob here in terms of I think a lot of the products are around so there are these financial products that are being brought in from the traditional space that are trying to be onboarded onto crypto, and they still haven't worked out the kinks. I think most of them are very terrible to use at all. Even most institutional people get wrecked on them anyway, regardless, no matter how good they are. So it's a sort of thing where that's what Solana is trying to build, but Solana is going to have that fully built out where it's really operational. It's going to be next cycle, not this one.
Correct.
You have the beginning of those with like Mango Markets and something like that. Like Solana is supposed to be like a blockchain based for traders because it's an FTX blockchain. But these like perps and all these longs and shorts, up and down coins are probably the most user friendlies of all those kind of like leverage things. But it's a really advanced stuff and basically there's so much alpha, there's so much beta gains. Which I think the name
different terms mean different things in the investment market.
Right. What beta means is basically if the market goes up to a 2x per year, you're getting the 2x guaranteed money. Guaranteed money. The guaranteed money in crypto is so good that you don't need to do this kind of crazy crackhead shit that like some of these guys are doing, basically.
And Wall Street, I've seen some stories of people who are like Wall Street traders who are like, all right, I'm from Goldman Sachs. I went to Yale. I'm going to take a crack at this. 10x, baby, let's go. And then liquidated.
Right. And the reason the market is so different compared to other markets and why the gains are so crazy is it's just really, I've distilled it down to one thing. It's ownership. So in equities, what these big firms are doing is that they borrow everything. Everything's borrowed. So they own nothing. Very rarely does the firm actually own the equity that they're shorting or longing or doing anything with. What they do is they borrow it from other people because the way the whole system works, right? You're on Robinhood. When you buy a stock on Robinhood, you don't actually you technically own it, but you don't have custody of it. So people are earning money on your money.
It's the same thing with how they're trying to use crypto. A lot of these guys in Wall Street, they don't want to actually hold Bitcoin, right? The actual asset. They go on the CME and they start leverage trading it on there, or they go in terms of the retail market, they'll go on Robinhood, but they don't actually have the ability to take that Bitcoin off the exchange, right? They're just basically it's a next level gambling casino. This is why I highly recommend people to listen to the book Reminiscences of a Stock Operator.
Right.
Super solid book. Boring as just dirt, but it's really interesting when you listen to it. What was happening in bucket shops and in traditional markets over 100 years ago is no different from what's happening today. Human psychology has not changed in thousands of years. And humans are still the same when it comes to that. So, looking at what, the mistakes of the past have been in terms of listening to the media and these different things when it comes to financial markets, it's all very, very important to understand, which is what Miguel is, discussing and alluding to here. So to understand this takes a lot of effing work. And so, that's one of the books that we recommend, but I would say, it took me a while to finish that one because of how dense it was. So, these are types of information that we're putting out here today is like years worth of work and study. And we try to condense that to the most important elements of what is useful for you now in your daily life to make money in the crypto markets. And you can use this information that we talk about, and you can apply it to other markets as well. It's not just information that's siloed into crypto, but obviously this is our industry. We're crypto native and we're focused on this. But yeah, we talk about all of this type of stuff in the course, and we're willing to have those types of conversations with people too, as they're learning about it. So yeah, it's going to be good.
Amount of that portfolio at 28,000. So that's the downside possibility. Again, it's a real possibility. And I'm going to flip over to a daily. I don't like to show the daily chart on these series, but essentially, I also think that this August 3rd low of around about...
He knows the audience is just as retarded as ours can be sometimes.
Yeah.
No trading on the 5-minute chart, guys.
600 should really hold over the next month or so on the way up. We do have a significant cycle low, a 60-day cycle low. So just like there's a 16-year cycle and there's 4-year cycles, there are 60-day cycles within a 4-year cycle. And this is going to be a test. This is the final hurdle coming up, I believe, in September, where that cycle low, if it can stay comfortably above the 2 prior 60-day cycle lows, the one in May and the one in July, then it completes what I believe is a bottom and shows a reversal of the decline that began in April. That would mean a high. We already have a higher high. Here's the peak of the last 60-day cycle on June 15th. We already have a higher high. A higher low in the September 60-day time frame puts us at a higher low as well. And
so it's basically saying that this 60-day cycle low, if it has to stay above 28,000 and 30,000.
Like 800. Yeah, exactly. It stays above that $28,000 to $30,000 range, and it's basically we're fine, right? You can also look at this compared to Elliott waves, right? We have a 5-wave sequence up here. And then if we have a correction, right, that correction, in order to not break the trend, should go no lower than the previous major low of the last cycle, right? And so that would be a wave 2, and then we would go and we would have a wave 3, which would bring us to new all-time highs. So his idea of analysis here is very similar in terms of he's using support resistance trading. So yeah, if people want to go and figure out what those things are, there's Google, right? But also we talk about it in the course. But anyways, I think
that's a lot of room towards the downside from where we are right now.
Tons.
Because we're currently at 50,000. And so...
Yeah, and we talk about on-chain data in the course, which we're not mentioning here. And I think some of the things that I think Bob would be very well, could use very well is more fundamental analysis and then more on-chain data analysis within his analysis, also a little bit more trend analysis. But anyways, with the on-chain data analysis, you can see basically the amount of accumulation which has happened on Bitcoin at that $28,000 to $32,000 or $35,000 mark is pretty damn significant amount of volume. And for people who are looking to hold long term. And there's also an amount of Bitcoin which has been purchased at about 55,000 plus, which did not sell off during the dip, which just means that's amount of Bitcoin from large long-term hodlers. So there's a lot of people basically saying anything below $55,000 is a discount. Anything anywhere near $30,000 or $28,000 is a goddamn steal. Yep. And so you're going to have so many buyers in that range. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of chop around that region. But once people figure out it ain't dropping anymore, then you get buyers coming in, and then boom, 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 the all-time highs, baby.
Cal Marlin says, I'm a 23-year-old guy, and if the moon math predictions are roughly accurate from these guys, I'll be walking away with $240,000 after taxes at minimum. That would be absolutely life-changing. Don't blow it all, Junior. and make sure you get back in.
Yeah, save it for the next bull.
Get back in, because this is how this is how the typical, if you're going to play the game right, it's going to take you 12 years to figure this shit out.
Yep.
First bull market, you get the exposure, right? First bull market, you get the exposure. Second bull market, if you learn correctly, you get rich. And the third bull market, you get wealthy. With the crypto mindset course, we chop one of those off for you.
Yep.
And so basically it is an 8-year plan. I know most of you guys don't plan 8 fucking days ahead of your life, right? But if you're one of those guys that can plan, a little bit ahead of your life, ahead of yourself. I look forward to 45-year-old MLD now. I'm 35. And that guy's got like 17 wives, 17 buildings in Tokyo, one wife per building. It's going to be lit. As long as you can actively plan ahead for what you want in your life and then just focus on the plan.
Yep.
Cryptocurrency is opening the doorway to wealth for a lot of people. I didn't say riches, I said wealth. Okay.
Yep.
So now's the time. The link is in the chat. We're getting signups flying in left and right.
Yeah. Do you want me to name a few people?
Yeah, go ahead. Name them.
So we got Michael W, Patrick M, Chris F, Mark L, Ben W, Alex K, Ben C. Let's see. There's a couple more here. Make sure there's a couple emails in between there. Ellen L, Nick P, Steve W, J, or I don't even know how to pronounce this. Uozas A. L. Did I mention Eric H? Yeah, basically there's a group there. Somebody even right after we talked about paying in Bitcoin said he wants to pay in ETH. So we'll take care of that and we'll attribute it to MLD there as well. So salute to all those guys.
Shout out, you guys. You guys are doing the right thing for your financial future. That's for
Fathead says, "Where else can you make these kind of returns? Maybe below." That's true. You could sell cocaine, but that's illegal. And then the downside to cocaine is drug dealers killing you and or the feds taking you to prison for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Those are not involved in the crypto mindset course whatsoever. Those are the only risk. The only risk you have for the crypto mindset course is you not showing up on time for the webinars. That's pretty much it. That's your risk. That's Ben Whiteside saying that's me paying in ETH. Thanks so much, Ben W. We appreciate you, buddy.
That is essentially the type of confirmation we're looking for to confirm the resumption of a bull trend. Further to that, depending on where this current cycle peaks, let's call it, just for argument's sake, 50,000 in the next few weeks. What we would want to see coming out of a September low, we want to see a September low that holds well above the prior low, of course. Then we want to see that rally up in October to take out wherever this high occurs. And if that happens, then we have a series of higher highs at the 60-day cycle time frame. And in my opinion, a firm resumption of the primary bull trend, something like this. So a 60-day cycle low will shake out, I believe.
You guys don't donate $100 right now. You're a beta male.
Thanks, Adam.
You're a cuck.
Adam, $10 super chat says, how do we sign up paying with Bitcoin? Charlie, you want to mention it one more time, buddy?
Yeah, I just was getting done with typing it in the chat there. Just said, email me at charlie@cultivatecrypto.com, Adam, and include like a subject line that says pay in BTC if you want to support me at Cultivate Crypto. Don't include MLD in the subject, but if you would like to give MLD his dues, make sure you say that you heard this from John's channel, which I actually recommend that you do. Just joking here. And then we'll attribute this to MLD's, affiliates as well. So everybody's getting paid. It's a win-win situation for all. Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
All right, let's go back. But yeah, for all you guys that want to pay in cryptocurrency, that's how you do it.
Yeah, 10% off, you guys.
10% off. 10%.
Oh yeah, 10% off. So yeah, when we'll include that in the email response to you. It'll be $807.30.
And that 10% comes from Charlie's half of the deal with me. So he's really giving back to the community here, guys.
Nope.
It could be next week, the week after. We don't know. And then a reversal and a takeout of this high that forms puts us on a path then over just probably 3 60-day cycles to what could be the 4-year cycle peak in the early portion of 2022. 22.
The chat's
So that's-
trying to kill you with Wagyu steaks, man.
Yeah, I eat
Well-
Wagyu like every fucking week, man.
Yeah, me and MLD will go out with Simon or whatever for lunch or something, but we'll charge it to MLD based on his affiliate fees.
I'm willing to pay. Yeah, but this part right here. So this is the biggest thing. Like this 60-day cycle low. I think that the media and the bureaucrats are gonna try to time this 60 cycle low.
Oh yeah.
With the infrastructure bill being voted in, and they're going to try and dump the price low. We're going to see a lot. And then, when the price goes down, normies frown, and then they fucking sell. And it just like, it's a catalyst of the direction, whichever way it's going. Normies are the catalyst of the market. When you give good news, normies come in, pump the price up. When you give bad news, normies sell and they go back to their fucking 9 to 5. And that's just the nature. Because I mean, the reality is, just from a purely statistical standpoint, the majority of people are dumb, and so the majority of people are not going to take the time to put in the work. And we're like, I love my mom, God bless her, but she's like still buying Dogecoin. I'm like, Mom, she told me two things. She's like, I'm watching I'm buying Dogecoin, and BitBoy says we should sell soon, and I'm like, Mom, I told you just watch Charlie, and I told you stop buying Dogecoin in May. What are you doing, Mom? She's like, well, YouTube recommended this to me. I was like, Mom, I'm gonna block you. I told her that's my mom. I'm like, Mom, I'm gonna block you. Like, you can't be doing this. Like, but it's just, and my mom, I love her. She's a sweet woman. She raised me. She did a great job. But she's got a lot of normie in her, and I'm like, Mom, just stop. Please, Mom, stop buying a fucking internet meme dog coin. Just buy Ethereum. I've been telling my mom since January, just buy Ethereum,
Yeah, you learned your lesson with Monocoin back in 2017, so it's coming from experience as well.
Yeah, God, Jesus Christ.
So this is still my primary view, my preferred view. I don't want to be shaken out of that view. I like to be confident in my view, but again, I have a plan for where that view is not correct.
So look, looks like Bob has April 11, 2022. So we're about 200,000 Bitcoin around about early quarter 2 next year. That ain't bad.
I like it.
That ain't bad.
Let's hope he's right.
He's watching the crypto mindset course. That's what's going on.
He's a fucking shadow watcher.
We'll talk about that in the course. There's some shadow watchers.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah, Bob's focused on his own stuff, but we got others. Yeah.
I said there's a downside hedge there. There's a downside level where I don't want to be involved. I don't want to have all that exposure out there. I want to bank more of that profit. It won't be anything like the profit that I had hoped for or expected, but it would be significant none the least. Because why would I want to do that? Well, and some people would say, well, but Bitcoin's going to be at 300 or 400 within the next few years. And that's great. If you are a pure hodler, that's great.
Yeah.
You probably already went through an 85% decline in the last bear market and you've come out shining. And that strategy is okay. If your strategy is 10 years, I'm not going to touch this, then in some respects, really, these videos aren't for you anyway. Okay. These videos are for folks who want to hodl, but also take advantage of the major events that occur within a 4-year cycle. So I would get out because I see the possibility of at least 20,000, but I can't rule out certain other key levels, like say 13 to 14,000, or maybe all the way down to 10,000. And that seems absolutely extreme. But when Bitcoin was at 10,000 only 11 months ago, getting to 60,000 over a few months seemed extremely extreme. And it was only a year, and here it is here in March. It's only been a year and 4 months or 5 months when Bitcoin was down at 3,500. So things happen very quickly in this space. And I just don't want to be caught in a position where I can't get out. And I think that happened to a lot of people in the last bear market. And I don't want to ride my position down. Yes, at 30,000, it's going to be down 55%. And that's just part of investing. When you don't get your upside expectation, it's very difficult to get out, because some could have made the argument where you could have gotten out at 50,000, 55. But I didn't want to, because I had already taken some profit in my initial investment at 28 for the sole purpose of looking for a massive blow off top that was 7x, 10x, 15x from the last bull market. And if we're going to end up with just a 3x, then that's not something that is easy to plan for and to get out, because getting out at that higher level here could have easily seen the market continue up and leave everybody behind. So it's the same kind of thinking on the downside. You don't want to get caught in a situation where the market drops and you're stuck with your full allocation, especially if you've averaged up and you're just riding it and riding it lower. And it gets to the point, if it drops below 20, where it becomes so painful that you capitulate. And that happens way more than you believe, if it hasn't happened to many of you already.
Paper hands.
Okay, just
paper hands are real, guys. Listen, guys.
Yeah, well, the other thing I was going to say there on his information there was, yeah, he's basically giving you probabilistic strategies, right? If this, then that, which everybody is like, no, like it's got to be either this way or that way, right? It's like, no. This is called logic, right? If this happens, then that happens, then I do this. If this happens in a different scenario, then that happens, then I do the other thing, right? And people are like, that's too complicated for me. Well, then all right, probably investing in anything is probably not a great idea for you. But you know, we talk about these if this, then that strategies because it is important to kind of look at that point of view. I mean, crypto PTSD from 2018, right, is real, right? People are still, basically a lot of the people who still stuck in the market basically are looking back at that part of the market in 2018 are just like, man, you know, like I, you know, should have done this, should have done that. And then they're going to exit the market too early. And so my theory on what's going to happen is probably that scenario where we go below 30K, right? I say we're going to 100K before we go to 20K. So if that is correct, right? And then we get to the 100K by the end of the year. Let's say we get to 130K, right? Let's say we get to 110K, whatever it is, we will have a pretty big pullback into January in my belief here. And if that happens, you're going to get a lot of the people, first, the people who are saying this is a bull trap, right? We're going into a bear market now once they are proven wrong. And then we go into a, you know, the continuation of the bull. Once we get the peak there at the end of the year, we start crashing in January. You're going to hear a lot of people saying, oh crap, it's the end of the bull market. It's just like 2017, right? And those are the same people right now who are probably saying we're in a bear market. And then you're going to see Wall Street take their money. Basically, they will sell their bags, you know, to those people. And, you know, the market will continue into the early part of, into the middle of early to mid 2022 at least. And we're going to be having a good time here from the Crypto Mindset course. So we're going to make sure that we get you through that journey for Q4 properly so that you can have the understanding of where things can go next year, because we're going to be doing flash webinars in addition to the webinars that we do in September. Right? We're going to do the 20 webinars in September, but then we'll do a flash webinar, some flash webinars along the way in Q3 when we have important things come out, like Pulse Chain or like a Bitcoin's price becoming more volatile or risky, or going above 100K and different things like this. We're going to make sure that we take care of you guys. So this is 1 year anniversary, and we're going to treat you all well.
Make sure you let them know what a flash webinar is. I don't think these guys know what a flash webinar is.
So something changes in the market or something like fundamental or new event happens in the market. We're like, shit, like sound the alarms. Let's get the crew back together and say, hey guys, within the next like 2 or 3 days, we're going to basically get on a flash webinar. It might be around this time. If this happens, like we'll try to time it well, but basically it's a flash webinar, right? It might be at a time you might not expect, but we do record them. And that way you can watch them even if you weren't able to make it live. So that's why people, you know, it's good to pay attention to the Telegram chat. Make sure to pay attention, you know, throughout the quarter because we're going to give you guys some good nuggets along the way as well. So it's not just the 20 webinars that you're purchasing here. It's a lot more.
Right.
Yeah.
In terms of how advanced, like it's basically as soon as we know we need to do it, basically.
Right.
It's really just depending on the market. If the market changes, we'll adjust, and then we'll try to come up with a strategy for you guys to help you guys out, and then boom, we're off to the races trying to do that for you guys. So yeah, this market moves quite a lot. So definitely that's why you guys need to sign up to the course and stuff, because we're pretty much the only people out here really looking out for you guys. Seriously.
Yeah. So it is. Let's see. Eric the Plumber, he's been sending us super chats for a while. So he said, hey, my guys, I can't wait for the course. Just got on. I'll be watching replay. Good stuff. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna wrap it there. Put my link is in the chat. My link is in the description box below, and it's also in the comment section. And it's also here. modernlifedating.com/crypto. I'll be in there. You guys know I've been with Charlie since day one, literally. Yep. And so we are just, you know, we're not shocked. We're not surprised that we are where we are now. You know, when you start off in YouTube, people just think, oh, who the fuck are these guys? They have no subs. They're, you know, sitting in a room, sharing a microphone, whatever, like, you know, the surface layer judgments, vanity judgments, really. But you're gonna see us, and we're still gonna be here. When Bitcoin's at 100,000, when Bitcoin's at 500,000, we're gonna be involved in this market forever. So, you guys can join us in the Citadel. But until then, if you don't get
Only
into
if you do the work.
yeah, well, if you do the work, and part of that is sign up for the Crypto Mindset course today. Enrollment closes at midnight on Tuesday because we have to start the education on September 12th. We cannot wait for everybody just to trickle in. We have to get organized. Like I said, we are heading towards 1,000+ enrollees based upon the trends of signups right now. So we have people that are ready and willing to learn. We could stop right now and have 700+ people ready to learn. But we're keeping this open for the people who are, it's the weekend, and we've got kids and stuff. We have families. We have all sorts of people popping in. So we're here for you, and there's no other time like now to sort yourself out.
Yeah, if you want more free content, we're going to be doing Moon Gang on my channel, Cultivate Crypto. Sunday night at this time, we're going to be doing it at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we'll be doing a live stream with John Fitch, who jumps on with John on Roll Zero. He is into crypto. He's been into crypto for a while. We'll talk crypto game with him. So that'll be fun. So we'll do those two shows from 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, and then 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So go watch us on those channels. We have plenty of more free content coming until Tuesday, because then we'll be off of YouTube for the rest of the month. So we're trying to give you guys as much content here as possible. So that if you can't make it in the course, you can still, hopefully do well. So good luck.
All right, guys. Until then, have a good day. Peace out.